out of town. Ohio Boys Podcast has come to North Carolina.
We're now in North Carolina.
I'm out of town.
Shout out Wilmington.
My coochie
NC.
pink.
We have a very special guest with us today. Aspiring MMA fighter. Very talented, very charismatic. A handsome dude we just met. David Wilson, a.k.a. Baby Hulk. You might have seen him on Street Beefs or some of his fights that he's had so far. Go ahead. Please join us.
We got the highlight reel in the description. Don't worry. If you don't know, you're about to be hit. Right here. Right here.
Go ahead.
You can adjust the stand however you want.
You can't use your hands though. That's the game.
Okay, sweet.
So
What up, guys?
go ahead. Give yourself a little introduction. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. I am David Wilson, better known as Baby Hulk, inspiring MMA fighter, and I think the kids call it street fighting legend, whatever they call me on the
Street
internet.
fighting legend. I'm fucking with it.
Okay.
I'm here for it.
Talk your shit.
Something slight. How y'all guys doing? How y'all liking North Carolina?
It's a beautiful
I've
state.
been pretty consistently drunk down here. It's been very fun.
The weather, right?
Oh, the weather's nice.
Yeah,
I'm not I'm
That's
not
a
built
common
for the
thing. You
heat,
don't know how
but
to drive here.
it's been nice.
What is it with the South and creating putting a concrete barrier between 4-lane highways? It's so dumb.
I mean, yeah, you don't
Mark,
really
they
see that
hate you.
at
That's
least
what it is.
where we are.
They hate us.
They do it
Northerners.
to be able to tell who
really
the
salty
Northerners
about
are.
that war.
Jesus.
All right, so at the top of everything, at the beginning of this episode, please go ahead, plug, promote everything you got to do. Cut yourself a little WWE promo if you want.
Okay.
Up for your fight, where they can find your fights and merch and whatnot.
Okay, what, you want me to do that right now?
Yeah.
Let's get ready to promo some shit. All right, guys. Baby Hulk actually have a fight next week, June 17th. UBG 15, put on by the one and only Derek Brunson, Wilmington Zone. If you can't make it, guys, I'm gonna have it on my YouTube pretty soon after the fight, so y'all could wait for it there. Follow me on YouTube, Baby Hulk. Follow me on Instagram, Baby Hulk _23. Just follow the journey, guys. I'm on TikTok too. If y'all see any of the the videos, like, share, subscribe, all that good shit.
This guy's a professional.
Yeah,
clean
I liked it.
promo.
That was clean. That was clean.
That
That
was
was
very
clean.
clean. It's like you've done this before or something.
Couple times.
All
I
right.
did not know Derek Brunson was from North Carolina.
Wilmington Zone.
Yeah.
We went to the
Shit.
same high school and college.
Really? Did you see his fight with Duplessis?
Yes.
Oh, I was cackling throughout the whole fight because I did not expect it to be as cartoonish as it was.
It's wild.
He's a cartoon.
It was cartoonish. There was the woo, 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 like the slipping and sliding sound effect throughout the whole fight.
Jesus Christ.
I salute both Derek Brunson and Dricus Duplessis. I believe I'm saying his name right.
Shout out to the home team.
Shout out both of them. Good luck in their future endeavors. You know what? I've really come around to Derek Brunson while we're on the topic of him because I was like, as I started getting into MMA, he was towards the back half of his career. And I wasn't really sold on him. I was like, okay, he's an older veteran kind of guy. And then he started standing like Crash Bandicoot in all his pictures. Blonde Brunson was crazy
Tell
for
me,
a minute.
Who has that intuitiveness to reinvent themselves that late in their career? Like, it took a hairstyle.
LeBron.
We've seen
He said it, not me.
We've seen a lot of these mythical fighters, as they've been called. Salon Quality Poirier, Blonde Brunson,
TRT tour.
TRT Tour. Do you have a favorite?
I'm pretty partial to Blonde Brunson just because, that's the home team,
Okay.
He went Super Saiyan on a lot of people, But me personally, I really like C-Level Kane.
C-Level Kane.
C-Level Kane undefeated.
Was so good. I remember one of my first favorite fighters was JDS. And when I watched him beat Kane in the first fight, I was like, "Oh yes, I love JDS." The little dip straight to the body. He was great boxer. And then when I saw Cain Velasquez come back and do egregious Saw movie-like things to that man
2 times
in the following fights of the trilogy.
Free Kane.
Oh yeah, free Cain
Free Kane.
Velasquez.
Free Kane.
Free Cain Velasquez. Good. That person deserved to be killed.
I mean, I'm not gonna say.
I don't
someone
think
deserved to be
that's
killed, but
true because he didn't kill the dude that he was trying to kill.
It was the dude's dad. He shouldn't have birthed such a fucking piece of shit.
I mean, yeah, that dude did probably suck.
What?
They did just have the trial
Kane?
not too long ago, but I didn't see the results or anything.
What country is the trial in?
America?
Oh, it's in America?
Mark,
He's American.
He's American.
No, I thought it was in a different country. My bad.
He just saw Brown and assumed.
No. I thought it was in a different country though.
This isn't happening in Puerto Rico, where he's from.
Right. Like, you thought he was in, like, Pakistan?
Oh, my goodness.
No.
Doesn't he have the brown pride tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, that was
Mark
That's
saw.
the
Dude,
craziest
speaking of
tattoo.
tattoos, there's been a lot of like fashion tattoos and shit like that MMA fighters notoriously piss poor at. Do you have a favorite MMA tattoo, whether it be shitty or really good?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I think if we're going for, like, actual ones that I really like, the snake one on TJ with the sword.
Okay.
That's awesome. I love, who's the welterweight who just got beat by Bahal with the crazy samurai?
Oh, remember the name?
Bilal Muhammad just
fought-
He's fought Gilbert.
But before Gilbert. Sean Brady. Bro,
Oh.
Sean Brady's back tattoo
That-
is ridiculous.
That was one of my favorite MMA moments as a diehard fan. That was like I stood up. It was like watching your hometown. It was like Rudy, dude.
Are you a Bahal fan?
I do like Bilal because like I started liking Bilal because everybody else would just shit on Bilal and I was a little shitlord and I was like, no, yeah, Bilal. Remember the name. Inshallah, brother, he wins again.
You know what? I feel
And-
like he's trying to get what Leon got a couple years ago, but they like, nah, bro.
They can't push you 'cause you don't have exciting fights.
Fucking with that, nah.
For the first, I think it was the first TKO of his career. I think so. To get that over Sean Brady, because I was talking shit, and I was like, he's going to beat Sean Brady. I didn't think he was going to beat Sean Brady like that. When I tell you I sat in my basement alone watching that fight, and when he beat Sean Brady like that, I called about 4 or 5 different people, like, oh my God! It was
deserved it.
one
Like,
of the most ecstatic moments I've had as a fan.
You know,
it
I'm
was
not, I
purely
don't
off
sing,
shitlording.
Bahal's praises too loudly, but that was a great win for him, and great win against Gilbert, and now he deserves a shot. Like, it's undeniable.
He does. I mean, that division, especially with the win over Gilbert, because like before he kind of had a claim because nobody else really had a
It
good
was
claim.
between him and Gilbert mostly.
Pretty much, because both of them were pretty much one win away. Like he had a really good win streak, but it was not over like top contenders or a bunch of big names. I mean, yeah, you were 8 fights undefeated, and the only blemish in that time was the no contest with Leon because he vicious eye poke. It is what it is, but if your best and most recent win is over like a number 8 or 9 Sean Brady, I don't think you should just walk into a title fight off that. But there was no other clear contenders, so they had to figure some shit out. How do you feel about the prospect of Colby walking into a title fight?
I mean, I don't think it's a prospect. That's happening, right? That's
Colby
the next
Covington?
one.
I don't know. I heard it was in the talks, and then I heard some people say that like, oh, this is for sure, but there hasn't been a date announced. I don't think.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. Like, it doesn't have a date, but honestly, Dano seemed pretty gung ho on it. And now that
I don't know
like,
what kind of dirt that he has on Dana White to get that.
honestly, a lot of people talking their shit, and I say I don't think Kobe deserves to just walk in. But now that
He's one win away.
I mean-
if we're being real,
I mean, not even like, okay, so you had it between Gilbert and probably Bahal, and now Gilbert lost, and they said that doesn't hurt Gilbert, but Gilbert's coming off of a loss, and if you're telling most fans either you can have Bahal fight Leon or you can have Kobe fight, come on, that's not.
yeah,
even,
the
that's not
money's
even a
there.
choice, yeah.
I mean, Colby Covington doesn't make me remotely interested.
I love Colby Covington because he's just a piece of shit. Like,
It's fun.
A lot of my favorite fighters are just dicks.
He's not even like super smooth about being a piece of
No,
shit. He's
he's
just kind of an
a
asshole.
You can see yourself in
Fuck
the-
you, fuck Marty Fake News, man. Fuck you. Like,
I
yeah.
do love the bit he does about like all the shitty nicknames he gives fighters.
We got
'cause it's
Snoozman, we got Leon Scott, we
The,
got
Kumshot Shemaev.
Kumshot
Kumshot
Shemaev,
Shemaev
man.
is so good, dude.
No, Kobe literally was just like, he was just cool. Like, when he was cool with Masvidal, he was just cool. And then instantly he was like, you know what? I want to start controversy. Yep, I don't like blacks. MAGA. I was like, that's hilarious. But why? Why?
He was taking G flicks with Donald Trump. He really mogged his way up the top.
Yes, and then everyone was just like, and I don't want to see Kobe lose.
He became a professional troll. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
works
you
out for a
know,
lot of
it
people.
Yes.
it launched his career into a different era. Like he was a
going
good fighter
crazy.
before, and he's still a good fighter now. I think he's wasted a lot of his prime years with inactivity, but
Hey, that
It-
red
it-
pill money on YouTube goes crazy though.
yeah, sure. Do you have a fighter that you would want to be in there with? Is there somebody that maybe an old legend or somebody that's active now that's just like, I want to test myself or I really respect him? It would just be like a dream fight for me to have that event.
too many. I'm a big aficionado of the sport. All the legends that came before, even the guys doing it now. I would love to mix it up with all the top guys around the world. You know, test myself. But if I had to like 3 right off the top, come on, the GOAT, DJ, just because like that's been my favorite forever. Learned a ton from him. Super inspired by him. So even if like not a fight, even just to roll with him grappling, his jits is crazy. I love to get in there with like a legend like Uriah Faber, just for what he's been able to do. And like I said, maybe not a fight, maybe just like a grappling, maybe like a no-gi type of thing.
Okay.
And if like around the world, I would. This is just crazy, just because he's a banger and DJ did it and it seemed really fun. But Roateng, like maybe maybe a mixed rules or
I am
like maybe he'd
so
do.
ready.
I'm inexperienced enough to do MMA with him, but like, dude, he's a fucking savage.
As much as I would like to see, I mean, we can all agree pretty much that UFC at this point as a company has hold a pretty big monopoly over the MMA marketplace, but
There's a lot of
I would
competition out
really like to see one start doing better and like J-Kick and just smaller Muay Thai organizations and stuff like that. Glory should be bigger than it is right now. I think that if all these organizations started to get bigger and better and really change the marketscape to be a more even dynamic, it would be the best, because there's a lot of people out there that would love a lot of these fighters and they just don't know. They haven't heard about it. There's a lot of people in the States that would be huge Rodtang fans. They would love Superbon.
It
Like,
also forced the UFC to actually put on stacked
oh,
cards.
that's true, because ever since the fucking ESPN deal, they've been slowly trailing into
been
just
nerfing these
fuck
cards
everybody
like
else.
crazy.
They just cut like 12 people because the Contender Series is about to start its next season.
Exactly. So you know they're getting guys out of there, getting guys in there. But I think a big part of that too is having the fans. It's kind of like the NFL. Like it's more MMA out there than the UFC, but the UFC does such a great job of marketing itself as the only show in town. So if guys are really fans of MMA and not the UFC, you should do it to yourself. Go out, watch a PFL event, watch a Bellator event, watch a one, because it's so many great fighters out there, guys. And if you kind of just limit yourself to the UFC, you're missing out on a lot of talent.
I think the problem is like it's just really like I don't think the average person would know where to find those things. You'd have to go search for it.
I mean,
the UFC has conventional marketing because they got that Disney marketing now. ESPN's all over the place, plastering it on billboards. You know,
I
they're on all the
mean,
betting apps.
even
all
then,
Even the other
like,
big promotion doesn't really promote well.
PFL also has an ESPN deal. They
They're
just
on
don't have
ESPN.
the stars.
they don't push it.
They do
They
push
do.
it.
Like,
they
it-
just they don't
ESPN
have the stars or the name value that the UFC
And that's why it
does right
seems
now.
like in the UFC is so big that it dwarfs it. So even if you are seeing a PFL like
It's too big to
notification,
fail
like
now.
once or twice, you're literally seeing like a UFC promotion like every time you're on Instagram, or if you follow a couple of MMA promotions or pages, they only talk about the UFC. So that's what you're getting bombarded with.
Aside from the big Francis Ngannou deal with the PFL, there has also been talks. I don't know how serious it is, but there's been rumors that Bellator might be bought out by PFL. I personally think that would be one of the best things to happen in the sport, because Bellator, as much as people like to shit on it, because Scott Coker is not that great of a promoter, has a good talent base. Like they
talent.
genuinely
Great
have
Do you think they'd
amassed
keep
good
fighters
talent.
from both sport, like both leagues.
What do you
It-
mean?
Like, do you think they'd keep all of the Bellator fighters and just make a giant pool?
Probably not all of them.
gonna
I don't think
purge the
I don't think the
bottom half of the
PFL
roster.
really has money to burn like that, especially if they're going to buy out Bellator. That's going to be a fat sack of cash right there, and then to add the entire roster, and you're going to have to make some
Isn't
cuts
Bellator,
and cut some
they
shit.
have like a lot of former UFC
Yeah.
fighters that they're paying a lot of money.
Because they leave the UFC and they're like, oh, I want to get paid and I want to still fight. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
shout
to
out
Bellator.
Ryan Bader.
Hey,
A lot
Big
of those-
Bader.
Isn't
Shout out
Big
isn't
Bader.
Romero in there too?
Romero's in there.
He's in the light heavyweight division
And then
right
you
now
got to
in the
think
mix.
about all the young
He's
killers.
light heavy.
Yeah,
Now
he
he
moved
is.
up to 205 after he left the UFC, which is
Mark,
kind of good
Yoel
because
Romero is
he's
built like a brick. He's just
he's built like some sort of
He looks
mythical
like a brick
creature.
shit house, but he looks like that at 185 too.
That's true.
Yeah. And now he came in and he's still doing good. He had a good fight against I think Phil Davis. Am I right?
He got to knock out his first one against Seth.
He's
something.
like 1-1 in Bellator
He's
right
fighting
now.
for the belt next against.
That's
Nemkov.
good.
Yeah. So and the thing is,
I kind of got Nemkov on
But
that
no,
one.
Nemkov is a
Yeah, it's
absolute
a
savage,
silent
bro.
assassin right there. That's a
if
killer.
you see what Nemkov did to Bader, jeez
Yes.
Louise, dude, he fucked Bader up.
Wasn't
But-
Bader a double champ?
Yeah,
He
and that's
was.
the whole thing, man. Like that's why I really, when I talk about like fighters who aren't in the UFC, like for the like. Ever, I was telling people about Michael Chandler when he was in Bellator.
Oh,
Michael Chandler is the top 5. Like nobody knew who the fuck Michael Chandler was because he was fighting for Bellator, and he was probably been top 5 for like the last 10 years. So
I mean, there are fighters in the UFC because just lightweight is such a stacked division and has been for so long. I don't know if I would put him top 5 in that division, even in like a couple years ago, because there are holes in his game. He's top 10 for sure. If he's not top 5, I'll give
what
him
are
like
these
7.
holes that you speak of?
Chandler's a gat. Like
Chandler's a little chinny. Let's be honest.
he's a warrior. He puts it all out there.
He's a little chin. Like I'm not saying he has a weak chin, but he will sacrifice defense to get it back and be more kind of
Called
explosive
Justin
and
Gaethje
exciting.
syndrome.
You know, stuff like that.
And-
And then there are times where I mean, a lot of people will bitch and moan about it, but I mean, this is the sport you're trying to watch, where he will start maybe taking some damage, or he's fighting a different type of fight where he wants to be more defensive, and he will kind of lay and pray.
No.
That's what he
Because
did
it's not
last
like
fight.
it's not as
I-
bad as people make it out to be. But there are fights where he's like, you can tell he's trying to conserve his energy and trying to just keep that top control. There are fights, and there's nothing wrong with that.
that's
Like, I don't,
strategy.
like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not. I'm not ever
I mean,
going to
but
sit here and
to-
lie to you and
to
say
be-
Chandler's boring.
I'm
But
about
I'm
to
not
say,
going to say he's
to-
perfect.
I mean, yeah, of course, there's scenarios and everything, but when you think of Chandler, what are we thinking? Exciting, explosive,
Think of
all
him
the
freaking
I think of
Like-
him murdering Tony Ferguson.
exactly. And shout out to him because I know, and I feel like a lot of people feel like if he was fighting more, I won't say smart, more strategically, because he's fighting a certain type of way.
Yeah.
He got into the UFC knowing he doesn't have a lot of time, and since the jump, he's just been putting on like really fun
Cutting
performances.
crazy promos.
Exactly,
He's
and-
been making the most of what he
If
has
he
the
gets a
opportunity
McGregor
to do.
fight, that's a
I don't
dream.
think it's gonna
I don't think
happen.
it's gonna happen, but if
I
he gets a
genuinely
McGregor fight,
don't think
that would
that
be
that's
such an
fight's gonna happen.
entertaining.
Wait, are you telling me like they doing an Ultimate Fighter? You think Conor backs out and doesn't?
Connor
fight
didn't fight Faber.
Last time.
I don't
He
think-
didn't fight Faber. He's
But
still.
the- but-
we're 6 months out per USADA
The Faber one
rules.
wasn't supposed to happen. They wasn't supposed to fight each other. They were just like coaches.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But even then,
He's
for
not in
USADA
pool.
rules, you have to be in the testing pool for 6 months, and within that 6-month period, you have to piss clean twice. He's still not in the pool, and they're supposed to fight at the end of the year. So,
That's what
like,
they say.
we
But also-
we have time, but
Yeah, we
like,
do have time.
We've
But-
seen a coked out McGregor taking shit that makes his head grow. Like he looks crazy.
I'm
right
about
now.
to say that I want to hear y'all McGregor fans. What happened? Like, is he going to back out? That might
Well,
even
I'm
be
not McGregor.
better.
I
That might
personally
even
think
be
he'll
better than
never
him
fight
getting
again.
knocked out because, bro, like you don't want to. The last time he came back, who he come against? He came against Donald Cerrone, like
off
and
like
shut-
a 4 fight
exactly.
skid.
So like, yo, shout out to like Cowboy, but he knew what he was doing when he came back. You're not coming back after all this time against Michael Chandler after you broke your freaking leg.
Hey,
Are you
compared
crazy?
to everybody else that he could fight in that division right now, I think Chandler is one of his better options. I'm not going to say it's the best. I'm not going to say Chandler's an easy fight for
Oh,
him.
no.
But I
I
think,
think
that
it's for the money. He's
because
doing it for the money.
I think if you want to
Yeah,
give him a
The bag's
fight,
got to be big enough.
it's the biggest bag that you can get for the least amount of risk.
I wouldn't say that.
because Poirier would destroy him.
I mean, yeah,
I'm
Poirier
not going to
destroyed-
say destroy for
He-
as
he
much
did
of
it
a
twice.
Off a
He
layup?
did it
as
twice.
much as a
He did it
Poirier
twice.
dick sucker as I am.
Poirier
After
would
a
beat
long-
his
So
So wait,
ass.
wait, hold up. So Poirier destroyed him.
I wouldn't say
And-
Poirier destroyed him.
No, the
because
first time he
lo-
knocked him the fuck out, and then the second time
He
broke
lost the first round to
broke his
McGregor and then
leg.
won.
So after all that time off, coming back with the shin bone, the titanium shin bone, now he's gonna give Poirier a harder fight than those first two that he got knocked out and then broke his leg?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Michael Chandler is a good option because you have a lot of unproven dudes. You have your like Sakarians, Kutateladze, Ismagulov. You have a lot of people that are kind of unproven and real
think McGregor
killers
wants
in
to
that
fight
division.
them. Yeah,
And
no,
it's not marketable to fight them.
Of course, like,
you're
this
gonna
is
fight Poirier, but you just did that. You wrapped that up. You could fight Gaethje. A lot of people would like to see that, but I
Gaethje
think
kills
Gaethje
him.
is more of a risk
Than
than
Chandler?
Chandler.
I think
Gaethje is more willing to be like kind of he'll sit there and work on his jab or something. Like he's not going to take as many risks as Chandler, and also I mean you're going to have the promo ability against Chandler that you don't also have against Gaethje. Gaethje might be just as exciting. He might be a better fighter than Chandler. However, which way you want to cut it. But when it comes to the
Justin Gaethje's not
marketing,
gonna
you're going to
talk.
get a little bit more out of Chandler.
For me, how I kind of seen it is, I see what you're saying. Probably inside of the top 5 or 6, the best option was Chandler. You can have Chandler or Gaethje. You can say Chandler because the promo could work better, but also you might not want Gaethje because Gaethje beat Chandler, and then Gaethje, like you said, he's on more of a win streak. Chandler has lost, so maybe you think you could get over on Chandler more.
Chandler's a little more chinny than
He
Gaethje
is a little bit more chinny, but
Takes a lot more risks.
he does take a lot more.
I think
especially
Conor
now.
should have fought not Gaethje, Tony Ferguson on the comeback fight.
I don't think they would have gave him that. And I feel like
agree
fans
with
would have definitely seen if after what Michael Chandler did to him and Conor McGregor comes back.
They knew
that's like
that
him
that's-
coming back and be like, I want to fight Diego Sanchez. I'm like,
Not Diego Sanchez.
People are gonna be like, but after what Nate Diaz just did to Tony Ferguson and what I imagine what Bobby Green is about to do to Tony Ferguson, y'all wouldn't wanna
when
see
are people
that.
going to stop sleeping on Bobby Green?
You're not.
I mean,
I've
the
been wide
headbutt was
awake,
pretty
boy.
egregious in the last fight, but
Yeah.
like when you
domed
saw it in the Fazayev fight. Also, shout out Rafael Fazayev, super underrated, still super great. His knockout over Moicano is still one of my favorite of all time.
Beautiful.
Clink, clink, clink.
Who got
Yeah.
the fucking the cracked skull knockout? They dented Buddy's forehead.
MVP when he hit Cyborg Santos
Page.
with the knee.
And threw the Pokeball at him.
Was that the same fight?
Yeah,
I thought
that
it was a
was.
different fight that he threw the Pokeball.
He
at him.
felt really bad. He said, "I didn't know how much I hurt him," and that's why, like, when he
And you saw the CAT scans of like his forehead,
That
and
was
his entire skull was
like
shattered.
a
Yeah,
cracked
there was
egg.
there was a hole here, and it looked like somebody like mushed a baby in a cartoon. Like it was sickening. And then in the fucking
Why a baby?
Because they have
the
soft
part
skulls.
of their head. And then when you look at the X-ray mark, it looked like a Spalding basketball. Like it was just like
You know, in like an anime or a superhero movie, when like they get hit really hard and they land on the ground and like the ground cracks.
It's like an X-ray.
It
you
looked
know?
like that.
yeah,
Yes,
like a Mortal Kombat X-ray, like some real shit. Like he hit him and his shit went oh.
Poor guy.
So
Poor guy.
I know we've talked a little bit about this off camera, but I do want to ask you now that we have the full episode because you've had some time to think about it. As somebody within the fight industry who trains very consistently, there has been certain techniques that have become dominant, they've had their time, their eras. We've seen the cage fighting of like wall walking and shit like that. We've seen the advent of the calf kick. The Dagestani hand tie. That's become way more prevalent now. Do you think there is another one that will become very meta in these next upcoming years?
We did talk about this off camera. Like I told you, like we kind of seen a little bit of the rise of leg locks. I just feel like some people are starting to nerf that a little bit. You see like your Ryan Halls and you see like your Gary Tonins get knocked out as they roll it for legs. So sometimes that gets nerfed. Of course, the calf kick is still going strong, but most people are starting to learn that like that new check for the calf kicks.
Thigh kick supremacy over here.
Yeah. And I guess the last one, like you said, the cage wrestling, that's been so good for especially like the Russian fighters. I think in a couple years we would see like a defense to that because we've seen Volk was able to, I won't say neutralize what Islam was like able to do, but he was able to like minimize like the damage he was able to do.
He was able to stay in there, to
of course,
not
even
like
when he,
let
like,
him
was able
take
to
that
his
lead.
back, of course. So if you can kind of, especially with those Dagestanis, if you can maybe get yourself off the cage or find a way to use like the cage to get back to your feet, like they do to take you down, that's probably what I'm looking for.
I got a question for you. If you had to make a rule change in mixed martial arts, what would it be?
That's easy, super easy. We're going to two things from one. One, we're doing knees to a grounded opponent because as a wrestler,
Let
I
it
know
ring.
some people would be like, why would you want to get kneed? Like, I know it's very dangerous for wrestlers, but also it's very unrealistic for me to take a bad shot to be like face down and like where you can knee me and everything. But because of the rules, like I'm kind of playing that game.
I agree with that because like it's one thing to be sprawled on, and now they're in a good position to knee you in the face or whatever.
gotta
But
get the
you're
fuck outta
far
there.
more likely to get somebody down, and you have side mount or some form of top control, and now you have just free reign to drop the hammer on their jawline.
Exactly.
So what's the rule with knees on the ground now?
Right now, I'm pretty sure, at least in the UFC, if you have like 3 points of contact, you're technically a grounded opponent. So you
Points
cannot.
of contact or both your legs.
Yeah. So you cannot kick or knee somebody in the face.
Yeah.
You
But
can you can kick people to the body.
Yeah,
You look
it's
at
not easy.
I think
That'd
Khalil
be-
Roundtree.
That'd be an advantage.
No, that was
to the-
cracking
oh
people.
my god,
Oh, that was
That
dirty.
was one of my favorite finishes. That was
That'd
so
be,
nasty.
definitely.
Are
You can
you-
soccer kick people in their
You have to
body.
use
You
your
can soccer kick-
hands.
yeah.
Like now you'd have to use your hands and maybe get rid of some position on the ground.
Exactly.
But if you don't have to do that and you could just knee somebody,
And
it's
it-
definitely advantage to a wrestler.
Especially if you seen it was most prevalent in the Aljamain versus Cejudo fight because once Aljo took some shots and he stayed on the ground in like that kind of 3-point position, and Henry could have took his back or whatever, but it looked like he wanted to knee him, kind of like how Jan did. But if we don't have that
Jan
rule,
knee
you
was
can't, you
so
can't,
crazy.
you can't play that game like that. I get it, like I'm safe, I'm not, but like
yeah.
if I take a bad shot, like in wrestling, I have to get the fuck out of there. Like I got to reshot or I can't just stay there and be like, now what are you gonna do? Because now you're in a very vulnerable position, and the only reason why you're not getting like taken advantage of is because of the rules. And like the second thing, people talk about open scoring all the time. I like open scoring is cool, but like I like just judge the fight as a whole. I don't want rounds. If the first round's close, the second round's close, and I beat your ass the third fight and I bust you up,
Like
and
pride
everybody
scoring?
exactly like. And
Okay.
everybody could tell who won the fight. So it's like, okay, not a lot happened the first 2 rounds, but if I beat the dog shit out of you in the last 30 seconds and I knocked you up and like I look way like cleaner than you, then I win the fight. So I like
think,
that.
Like fighters depend on this. Like, do you think?
I feel like I
something
disagree
changes
with
in
that.
the way of their approach, because if you think you won the first and the second round, you're more just making sure you don't get knocked out in the third type of deal.
Well, everybody's different. Like honestly, when I go into fights, I'm looking to finish. Like whether it's like in the first or the third. So if I could get you out of there, I will. But if I'm up 10-8 in the first and I won the second, like dude, if I don't have to put myself in a like
minimize risk.
exactly, I'm gonna take that and like take the decision. But if I even if I won the first 2 rounds, I can't kind of lay back now because if you have a really good third round and possibly finish me, then you could win the whole fight.
On the topic of that and that way of scoring, do you think it would be more beneficial to have the still rounds broken up that way and have the scoring it across the fight, or would you rather change it to one long round?
No, okay, so I still like the fact that they're broken up in the rounds. The rounds aren't a problem for me, but it's about judging it round by round. Because,
Okay.
first of all, the 10-9, there's
It's a
probably,
bit of archaic.
yeah, especially because it's mostly made for boxing and everything. So even if I agree, like I won the first round, right? We could say I won the first round, but it's not a 10-9, and we're not judging it by then. And then you can say I won the second round. But if if you dominate in the third round, right, and it kind of nullifies everything I did in the first 2, then you win the fight.
If you had to start your own promotion and you're looking to, set up the structure, like weight classes, setting up these fights, how would you go about it? Would you stick with the conventional, 135, 145, 185, 205? Would you stick with that?
Yeah, okay, so if I'm like a smaller promotion, I'm just getting out there, I feel like it'll be pretty hard to have like all weight classes. So I would pick maybe like the top 5 I would really want to focus on, which would probably, for me, it'd be like lightweight, flyweight, maybe women's bantamweight, heavyweight, and maybe like a middleweight or something in between like 205 and
I would
185.
do double weight.
Similar to like a WEC or like a Strike Force
Exactly.
model.
Mhm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because I feel like if I'm a smaller promotion, can I really have too many like women straw weights, or can I have too many like anything like that I know I can't have a lot of competitors at? And then after that, man, I'm doing it tournament style, one night shit, $1 million prize like that.
Tournament
Okay.
style?
Of course, bro. Like I want to have like maybe 8 to maybe 16 man bracket. Yeah, we
That's crazy.
Yep.
Multiple fights in one night.
I mean,
And
that's
Victor
how it
does it.
used to be.
You ever watched UFC 1 or 2
Yeah, but like
with the
that's,
dude with the one
I
boxing
feel
glove
like
and
once you get to a certain point to where like the UFC is, you might not want to do that because you're fucking up your fighters and you might shorten their career by a long margin.
And for me, like if I was to run this promotion, I wouldn't think of it like a long term like the UFC, because I don't think most companies can compete on the UFC. I won't
But
be
if
able
you
to sell.
scale it up to that point, like,
Yeah, and for
if you
this,
had your pickings, like if you get to the UFC's like size, like and you could do whatever the hell you wanted, like are you sticking with that?
oh yeah,
model?
it'll be like one big event for the night. You know how like Ryzen does like his New Year's event. It'd be my one big event for it. Like I'm gonna be scouting talent all year, get the top 16 people for all five weight classes, promote the fuck out of it, have these guys tell their backstory, and then bro, you tune in for maybe 2-3 hours of fights, bro, and you like
It's like a tie-in of like an Ultimate
the-
Fighter type
I was
deal.
gonna
Yeah,
say,
and
it's
then you
the
get-
world champion.
Like
and
a
then you
live
get
Ultimate
5
Fighter, that's kinda dope.
or like a PFL. Like if you ever seen like the PFL final when like they have all the final fights and then the winner gets $1 million. So they'll do their tournament and then the winners will bring them all out and you give them all $1 million check.
That's cool.
On a more fan-sided note, who do you think has the best looking belt?
Out of like the promotions.
Yeah.
Oh, one for sure.
Oh, thank you. Come on,
It's-
man.
I think it's One or Bellator.
Yeah.
I like Bellator's belt. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
It's
I
classy.
think
It's classy.
it's the classic like heavyweight title, that kind of like WWE kind of picture. It is exactly what you envision when you think of some sort of fighting championship.
a good
belt.
center belt, like not too much going on. Like I like the UFC belt; it definitely grew on me, but it's very
Oh, this
modern.
is dope.
Very
It's
modern.
clean.
Is that
It's
One or
clean. It's
Bellator?
sleek, and I like it.
You know what?
but-
I don't like. It's so commercial though. Like
It is.
It's very ESPN, very like big
Minimalism.
business.
This
Yeah,
is
exactly.
created by
It
a corporate
seems like
graphic
a
designer.
product of the
Exactly,
times
exactly.
kind of
What
thing.
belt did you
At
look at,
one,
Mike?
you get different custom belts, bro. I think what did they say that thing's like 20 pounds or some crazy
One
shit
looks like a
that.
boxing belt.
It's huge, bro.
I feel like that's kind of what they all should look like. Because when you
Yeah.
think of whether it's boxing, wrestling, whatever, if you're going to have some sort of championship belt, there is a staple thing that you envision in your mind when you think of a championship belt. And there's nothing really wrong with deviating from that style, but I like a classic design, man.
I was gonna say,
I'm
do you
not
feel
gonna
like-
lie.
I like boxing because they do more with the materials and stuff. They have like
Different
the flashy
colored-
material, different colors.
I was just about to
they
say,
put
do
pictures on it.
Do you like your belt to be like super flashy, like
Oh,
with a
yeah.
lot of?
Dude, you're the
I'm
champ.
getting a spinner
I
belt.
was just about to say, I'm trying to have John Jones come out to like Word Life with the spinner belt. Like,
Okay, I think that works for boxing because it's like 18 belts you can have. So it's like, oh, I got the red and the
I
purple.
hate that
I got
model
the
so
gold and the.
much.
Now, if you got one belt, like this shit ain't gonna be rainbow colored. Like everybody's getting like a nice symmetrical
a
belt. But
black
if you got
and
like
gold belt.
if you got like 8 different type of belts, switch it up. I love it.
That's fair. I hate the model of having that many belts.
I
I don't think you should have more than 3 belts.
I
You look,
don't.
you
But
look
it's
really
an
good in
estab-
pictures.
it's
the
an
reason, like,
establishment.
the reason that I really like that model is because even though that boxing has kind of gone downhill from its former glory, boxing is the only sport where you can truly be the undisputed world champion because you can fight in multiple promotions, you can get multiple belts, and you hold them all at once and you
I think it would
unify
be
them.
dope if they had a unified belt.
I think
like
that
if you unify that weight class, then you make your own special belt. That would be dope.
I see where you're coming from, but I also think that having that many belts for that division having 6 different lightweight titles out there.
Well, how can I be the world champion
Yeah.
if there's another world champion over there, another world champion over in that
Because
promotion?
they're not the world champion.
'Cause-
They're the
'cause we're doing
IBC world champion or the IBS world
So you're
champion.
It only
it's only
minimizes
one world.
your
It's
position.
only one world.
Okay.
though.
Makes the
So why is
belts
it like
mean
5
less.
world
But
titles?
when you get all of those belts, you are the undisputed world champion. You
But-
could be disputed. There can be
But
another
true,
world
but how
champion.
many rings do you have to jump through? Are these guys even gonna fight you? Like now we gotta work through.
I hate the politics.
But
of
like
this.
no, but
now
It's so shitty because
I'm Showtime. You're WB. Now I gotta like jump through hoops to like get you to fight
And
me.
that's fine, but think about it. When you could anyone could call themselves the baddest man in the gym, right? And you're I'm the baddest motherfucker, and someone else they can be the baddest motherfucker. You're gonna go test that.
But okay, the difference is like if I say I'm the baddest, like if I'm the world champion in the UFC, right? The only other person who has claim to that would be somebody from a different promotion. They couldn't be from my promotion and be like, I'm the champion
And they're
along with
from
him.
a different promotion. They just have different belts.
But
It's the same thing. Now, like say John Jones could now if John Jones
but
could
they,
go to
but they
Bellator.
can't fight though. But I can't fight the people from the other promotions in the UFC.
See, and that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's why boxing is cool. You can go fight. You're the world champion. No, I'm the world champion. Let's unify the belts.
I would love
I
that.
understand that sentiment.
I think unifying the belts only serves to make it like it's cooler on the back end, but it also makes it mean less in a different way.
Also-
in a
Makes
different
it
way.
mean less?
Yes. No,
Also
because let's say
If
you
you don't
have
have
somebody
all of
that
them,
unifies.
it-
There's what
it
like
does.
6 belts, and let's say one dude gets like 4 out of 6. Now that washes up a bunch of different belts because if you beat this dude, you get all of them. So you can't really be that champion and this champion and have that parallel and everything. It
You're
is
the best in
once-
the world. You get his 4 belts.
Does the UFC
He earned
call
those 4
world-
belts, and you took them from him.
Like,
you
is-
essentially beat those 4 people that he beat.
Is the UFC
is
championship a
dumb.
world
It's not
championship
dumb.
or is
It's
it just
dumb.
the UFC
No,
championship?
it's the
It's
world belt.
pretty
and-
much a world belt. You're in the biggest,
But are they
baddest
calling it
promotion
the
with the top of the
world-
talent.
Yeah.
like world heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah,
You know,
and
pretty
and-
much.
And every promotion has a right to say, "Hey, you're the world champion," and the only way you would be able to kind of dispute
That'd be
that.
such a dope
Yeah,
crossover.
but the thing is, man, but I would love.
Good
to,
thing
I got
boxing
a question
can do
for you. I got a
that.
question for the MMA man. All right, all
Lay it
the
on me.
champions in the promotion, right? You
Yeah.
have to make 3 dream fights from champions from different promotions. What fights are we putting on?
Are we staying strict to weight classes?
Yes.
Champion versus
Okay.
champion.
We're saying
Don't
strict.
say anything about heavyweight because John Jones is killing old boy from from
Pavlovich?
Bellator.
Oh, you're saying like a cross promotion.
Yeah, cross promotion.
That's what I'd
Yeah.
say?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, if you're gonna talk like you're gonna bring Bellator into this,
All of them.
if
yeah,
you're-
you get, like, one.
I mean, yeah,
Whatever,
but like,
Francis Ngannou and John Jones.
I mean,
You
yes,
could do
technically
that.
ain't the champ.
he's not the champion
Technically.
but let's be honest. I feel like once he starts to work his way up there and actually fight,
Work his way up.
I mean, yeah,
it's
it's gonna
vacated, right?
take like one or two. No,
The heavyweight championship isn't it vacated?
no, there's a
No. John Jones is the world heavyweight title.
John Jones is the champion and
And
PFL is
PFL.
the champion. I forget his name right now.
If I was the
Francis
PFL
Ngannou hasn't
heavyweight,
fought him yet.
if I was
Yeah.
the
Francis isn't
PFL
gonna
heavyweight
fight in, like,
champion,
the champs. Probably.
I would
He's
give
just
my
doing,
belt
like,
up.
The celebrity type.
Pretty much.
I would
but-
give him
he's
the
like
belt.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna still count it because I feel like he could be the
He's probably the
champion.
best heavyweight fighter though. in
Yeah,
the
for sure,
PFL.
for sure. And
So-
he's the last UFC champion that wasn't beat, so you could give him that.
He beat
All
Stipe.
right. Fuck champions, because I'm going just straight people in
Okay,
the division.
okay.
Give me like Nemkov Yuri or Nemkov Blachowicz. I think that would be a barn burner.
You like
of
that
a fight.
European MMA? I see you.
It's nice because
Mm-hmm.
like they're like there's no reason to sleep on them. They are
Nemkov is
solid.
really
Nemkov
popping
is
off
light
right
heavy.
now.
That's the
Oh, for
Bellator
sure.
champ, right?
Yes.
Eastern Europeans.
And
they don't
Bellator
keep
actually
taking
has
over.
Bellator arguably has a better light heavyweight division than
Arguably,
than,
yeah.
than the
You know,
UFC, does.
especially now.
It's
Wait,
at least more
Didn't
stable
Nemkov-
across.
Didn't Nemkov and Yuri fight? Or I know
Maybe
I know
under like
Nemkov-
Ryzen or something.
Okay, because I know Nemkov fought like some pretty good UFC guys.
I don't think either of them held a title, and they were both probably earlier in their careers if they did fight. Because I know Yuri spent a lot of time in like Ryzen or Glory or something like that back in the day.
I wanna
'Cause
see-
he came out with like a
That's why he the
28-1
samurai.
record with like 25 knockouts, but
Yeah.
he stayed in the same promotion for
How do you
forever.
feel about Tai Tuivasa versus Ryan Bader?
I'd watch it. I would fucking love to watch that
That sounds like a banger to me.
because I think
It
Ryan,
does.
Yeah.
I feel like
Ryan
Bader,
Bader
just takes him down, rolls him out of there.
Yeah, but like I honestly at this point I can't count out Tuivasa because not
Like
that
Ryan
I
Bader,
think he's
Derek
amazing
Lewis.
everywhere. Like I don't think he's as well rounded as Ryan Bader is at this point. But you do have to place the parity in of age. Ryan Bader is on the back half of his career, even if
he's
has.
like 38.
And
But Bader's
He
like
might even be
super
40.
athletic.
Bader
Even at
is.
38, he's
Bader's
in better
a little
shape
fucking
than
freak.
Bader's
But-
in better shape at his age than Ty is right now.
Arguably. Arguably.
Yeah, but the shoe.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
the
but the
shoe.
shoe. I would like
Look
to
up
see
how old
DJ
Ryan
come
Bader
back
is.
and fight half of that fucking
Mark,
division. Give
can
me
you look up how
DJ
old Ryan Bader is?
Pantoja. Give me Pantoja has been slighted for too long. Too long, goddammit. He's already has 2 wins over Brandon Moreno. He's been the dark horse of the division for too long while that division was tied up with a
I'm not mad at that.
quadrilogy.
I'm not mad
We
at
got
that.
too many good fights of
40.
that quadrilogy
Ryan
for
Bader's
me to be
40.
upset about it. But as a Pantoja dick rider,
That's a hardcore
I'm-
choice. Like, bruh,
I
he's
need
saying
my
DJ
man.
against Pantoja. That's a hardcore MMA choice.
that's a banger of a fight right there.
What's number 3?
That was all 3, if I'm gonna say, because if we're gonna count Ngannou Jones, because that's
Okay,
that's one of the biggest
are you
fights
counting
ever.
Ngannou? So Ngannou Jones,
We'd have to-
Yuri
Yuri
Nemkov,
or
and,
Blachowicz Nemkov, I'd take that either.
and
then
DJ Pantoja.
DJ
Okay,
Pantoja.
that's hardcore. If I had to pick mine, no champs. Like just regardless, I'm picking.
card.
I want to see DJ, and we got to get DJ against Aljo. DJ is really like a 35er now in Japan. So DJ against Aljo, I would want to see how he would do it different from Henry, because they're both really good, but DJ has a different skill set than Henry. I feel like that'll work better against Aljo, especially his clinch work. DJ's phenomenal from the clinch.
the only thing that I would differ, because I agree with that, I also think that Cejudo probably would benefit more than DJ would be from the jump in weight from 25 to 35. Because I feel like Cejudo naturally just probably has to cut a little bit more. I don't know if it's enough to make a huge difference.
Well, like they fought at 35, right? Him and Aljo?
Yes.
Henry, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you could look at Henry Cejudo's like coming up. He was at 25 for a while. He had 2 fights against DJ at 25. But I feel like at least now in his career, where he is now, he's bulked up enough.
Yeah,
to the
it's
point
no
where,
way
like,
he's making 25.
Yeah, and I feel like DJ could still make 25. I just frame wise, physicality
He
wise.
said he probably could. He said he probably wouldn't because it would be like a hard cut for him just because of his age. But bro, like, and also I would like to see that fight because DJ went against Maurice the last 3 fights, and Maurice is a huge like. So
massive
if
for
he
that
could
weight
deal
class.
with if he could deal with him, I feel like he could deal with the size of Aljo.
That's true. I mean, Aljo's a bit more lanky in his build than that, but I mean, if you're gonna fight somebody that's a bit more stocky and like more well-rounded, I guess if you want to say in physique, than somebody who's just lanky, it's a different problem to deal with. But I think if you can do one, you could do both.
And DJ's, I feel like DJ's jiu-jitsu is probably a
Wizard
little
level.
I mean, way better than, I won't say way better. I won't say that, but I feel like he has a slight edge against Henry's jiu-jitsu. So probably DJ's jiu-jitsu will line up better with like Aljo's.
Okay.
Number 2, I gotta bring him in because I'm a stan. AJ McKee, the best prospect outside of the UFC. Fight me, I don't care. AJ at 55, dude, pick your choice. Any of the young dog 55s, but I would love to see him against Arman Sarukian.
I was gonna say
Arman
Gamrot,
Sarukian?
but like you're not. It's the same fucking thing.
Both young killers, great stand up, great fucking grappler. I would need to see those grappling exchanges from AJ and Sarukian, and I think if AJ was able to beat Sarukian, it'll really let people know how good AJ McKee is. And the last one, promotion. Who's the Bellator? I need to see Pitbull, and I need to see who's a really. Oh, I want to see Pitbull and Song Yadong. I think that would be
okay.
excellent.
That's a good fight right there.
Pitbull is a legend in the sport, and if you want to go against like another legend 35er, then you could pit him against I wouldn't pit him against Garbrandt because he had smoked Garbrandt, but I want to see him against who did I say? Song Yadong. I think that'd be good.
If I was gonna have a dream matchup for Song Yadong, because I believe they're very similar in weight classes, Aaron Pico.
Oh, that's a great one. I know. I think Aaron is at 45, but yeah, Song is at 35. That would have been a great fight.
Tyler said he wanted to see Stamp Fairfax fight Zhang Weili.
Woo!
That's a banger right there. That's a barn burner. Shout out to Tyler for that.
Zhang Weili fight in here.
I ain't mad at that.
love
I know.
Zhang
I want to
Weili.
see
She's my
Weili fight
favorite
Yao
fighter.
Xiaonan.
The battle for China? Yes. I need that. I need
and
that.
that is obtainable. So Dana White, do fucking
I'll-
something about that.
How
please.
about you make a good fight, Dave? Come on, give us more than one good fight per card.
He's too busy fucking prostitutes in Vegas.
You know what? First, we
Well-
need to make some more news so Dana could drop some more fight news. You know, to kind of silence it. But how was? Did y'all think that was petty, or did y'all think that was just business?
It could be both.
Yeah,
It could be both.
facts.
Because you know, Dana's a big petty bastard, but he's also
I wish that
a nasty
Dana-
businessman, like most businessmen are.
They should let Dana and Joe Rogan do one of the like seasons for Tough, and then have them fight each
And
other.
then break it. I don't even think they're close in weight.
Don't care.
They don't have to be,
Joe
bro.
Rogan's a
Joe,
small
yeah,
dude.
They
come
both
on.
used
Isn't he
to-
like 5'9"?
They were both playable in UFC 3.
That was funny. Yeah,
It
they had
doesn't-
Bruce
it
Buffer in there
doesn't
too.
mean-
Bruce Buffer was a killer in UFC 3.
For no reason.
Oh my god.
Let's get into your.
I was gonna
let's
say,
get into your
let's
fights.
talk about you. I want to be
Yeah, let's talk
nosy.
about you a little bit more.
Okay, yeah. What's up?
Yeah.
So
What's your
promotion-
address?
What promotion?
That Social Security,
right
run it
now?
up.
555. So I'm pretty open right now. The next fight I got booked, like I said, is in a week. That's under Derek's promotion. That's UBG, Ultimate Battleground. So that's a local promotion in Wilmington. We actually just got our state commission back. It's been going for like years and years. So I've been having to like fight out of state. But because they are back, this is the second card in the city. So, they had to get your boy on. So I'm super excited to fight in front of like all the friends and family.
That's nice. That's great. That's great. You get all your support around you.
Oh, yes, sir.
Supporting cast.
We're definitely watching that fight.
Home
Yeah, of
team
course.
shit.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna get some pizza and popcorn and watch our boy Baby Hook.
Get your
the dub.
popcorn ready.
Is there a way you can watch that out of state, or is there like a live stream or?
Yeah, I know more about that. Like, the week of the fight, they kind of let us know the schedules, like in the itinerary and everything. So usually, if it's a live stream, I'll just give like the live stream out like the day of the fight. Or if it's a pay-per-view, like I give people the pay-per-view to give them the option. But I always tell people I usually have the fight on my YouTube within like the week, if not like the damn like weekend of.
Okay.
So if it's not out like early, I'll have it on my my YouTube pretty soon.
Nice.
What does training look like for you? So I know we came to the gym with you a little bit.
Yeah,
today.
y'all got a little sneak peek of that.
Yeah.
Y'all
It
sat
was
in on
really
the
cool.
last spar session of the camp.
Yeah, Pete. We're gonna have some clips out. On the
Hey, we're
vlog.
gonna have some vlog footage.
Yeah.
I sparred with I don't remember what his name was. I sparred with some dude.
The younger dude.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
sitting there on the thing with the gloves on, like just waiting to fight one of them. And he walks up and he goes, "You need a partner?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't know how to do this." And he's like, "Oh, neither do I. It's fine." And then we like get up and he pops me instantly, and I'm like, "All right."
He was slick. I
Alright.
went around.
Welcome to the jungle.
Shoulder roll, pop me in the mouth, and I was like, "This is sparring, so I don't want to start swinging like an asshole, but like I gotta pop him back."
He does
And
this
I
thing
hit-
where if he starts bleeding, he just sees red. And
Are you one of them see red
I don't
dudes?
like blood. Blood makes me scared.
he really goes into fight or flight.
He kept a real high guard, a real like.
Yeah, I
Like a
I-
Muay Thai
I
high
cracked
guard.
through it a couple of times. I don't know why he was like really wide with it. So like I would pop through, but like every time I'd hit him, he'd like smile and just hit me back harder. And I was just like, "Oh
Yeah,
my
that's what-
Just
god!"
the fighter mentality. Like, come on, baby, hit me.
Yeah, like let's go. Like,
And he's one of our younger dudes. Like he's starting out. Like so, it was good. Like you got rounds with him. But yeah, man, like, that's one of the first thing when I'm like, damn, this sport might be for me. When I was okay with getting hit, it's like it's not that you like it, but it's like
Makes you giddy.
It like
Make you giddy to get punched in the face.
it depends on who it is. Like if you hit me in my shit and I know what's coming back, I give you a little smile. I give you a little smile because like I live by this rule. I'm not a jerk when it comes to sparring. If you don't know a lot, I'm always willing to go on your level. But as soon as you fucking pop me, like the rule is you hit me as hard as you want to get hit.
Yeah,
Type
you break
shit,
the
so.
seal. That's why I was like, I'm not trying to like, I don't know shit about the sport. I've never like live sparred or anything before.
How was that? How did you guys like even just moving around like?
Oh, I
oh
loved
my
it.
god!
'Cause,
It
yeah.
was.
No one stepped
I
on my
was.
shoe.
I was getting.
I was at the point where, because even me and him had talked about it. I was at that point where about halfway through our round, I was like, dude, I really want to give up. My fat ass can't breathe. But then he hit me again, and I was like, but like this is fun. Like I don't like. All right,
I feel
we gotta
that'd be
finish this
something
out.
great for you, honestly.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do like a weight challenge or something, all we
I
gotta
could
do is
definitely
get you
come
You
roll
know,
membership, bro.
in a Disney movie when they start singing and like the birds land on them,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I felt.
it
It was good. It was
a whole
good.
new world.
Yeah, no, because like I've had some like boxing classes. I've done that. I've done a couple of jiu-jitsu classes, but I've never actually stuck with it. So being able to just sit there and not just do drills and pad work and actually kind of work with somebody, and like whether it was me sparring with Tyler and I ran a little bit with you in grappling,
say we
and
grappled.
then boxing one of the people in your gym, like it was cool to just kind of go around. And I was sitting there. I smoked too much. I was my cardio was starting to give out a little bit, but I was sitting there, going back and forth.
I see it. Y'all
But,
do
like,
y'all
if you
thing.
committed to it and actually tried to like get into a fight promotion, like not even just like a crazy, like just a small fight promotion, just to do it for you.
A street
right?
beefs.
Would
Yeah.
you?
Yeah,
would
I think you do well in
would
street
you
beefs.
detox completely so that you can
Yeah.
get your cardio up?
Yeah.
Because I don't think I've ever seen
Because
like, fully
if
detox.
I were to get to that position, I
That
would.
sounds like me.
I would be really excited, and I would try and take it really
Phil's
seriously.
got a reputation. We'll like.
I'm whatever. I'm a little
Phil's got
degenerate,
whatever
but there are
foreign
things that
substances.
if I take it seriously, or I believe that it's worth enough to take seriously, I'm going to apply myself 100%. Those things may be few and far in between, but when they come around, it's go time.
Do they drug test you for street beefs? The answer
They
is
made
no.
me walk a straight line.
So you're telling me I can take some shit to make my head grow and go
I
down
mean,
there
when you
and
started Street Beefs, like how big was it?
So when I was on there, the reason I look no, they don't drug test that street.
They were
They're
just-
probably
they were just
they're more
starting out,
likely to
right?
give you some shit on the way to the fight than drug test. I'm just like, no, shout out to them, bro. I'm just joking, but
Said, here's a Bang energy drink. It's
Yeah,
some
right, like-
HGH. Get in there,
keep
kid.
it up, keep it up.
When you started, it was very like it was a lot smaller than it is right now, right? Like right now they got like 3 mil subs.
I'm not gonna take credit for that.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
you blew it up or anything, but it was definitely in a different position when you were.
I think they were about, if not already at 1 million, damn near 1 million when like
they had
when
just
it come-
started West Coast around the time that his like big viral videos were coming out.
Honestly, I got in one of the best times. Like not to toot my own horn any bit, but like I feel like I had like a decent part of like growing the promotion, especially like having the biggest fight on their platform.
There was a few
that the
standout
Viking
fighters,
fight?
and
Yeah,
I
like
would say
all
that
my
you are
fights
one of
on there
them.
have more than 1 million views, and I got about like 8 fights on there. So
What does it feel like when? Because I'm sure like when you got in there, you're just like, oh, I want to get in a fight, get some experience, get a little bit of exposure. But when you see that number, what is that? What did that make you feel?
honestly,
'Cause $1 million is a big number.
Dude, it's crazy. Like for me, it's something like surreal to laugh at because, but I can't even imagine what 1 million motherfuckers look like.
That's a pay-per-view number.
It might as well like 43 million. I don't know what the fuck that looks like in real life, but like besides like just having something to kind of brag about to like the homies or just kind of pit on like a sponsorship shit that people kind of like. I really don't give a fuck about it. Like it's not my promotion and it's not like it is my video, but it's their video. But bro, like on to the next one. That was like how many years ago? And
Right.
like I'm not one of the people who kind of like live on their highlights or like I ain't no
But
fucking.
it's gotta make you feel good.
Oh
Like,
no,
that-
it's definitely a feather in my cap and everything, and I
yeah.
like that. But I tell everybody that was, bro. Everything in my past is small shit. Always on to the next thing. We always build in like anything I happen in my past. Cool.
but
That
that's
won't
gotta
be the
validate
highest.
every single thing you've been.
Oh,
doing.
for sure.
Are
It's-
you
it's
still
definitely a good little
technically
milestone.
champion there?
Nah, I haven't been champion for a while out there.
When did you vacate it?
So when I left the first time, like after I beat Viking, I kind of like, yo, I'm kind of doing the pro thing. I was trying to do the pro thing, and then kind of COVID happened. So once that happened, I'm like, I could get one more, like, get one more fight, kind of keep my name out there. Still needed experience, but once I was going, I was like, yeah, y'all could do whatever y'all want with the title. Y'all could like fucking have a tournament, crown somebody. I don't care.
Did you keep the belt?
Oh no, you never keep the belt.
Really?
Never.
Is that like bad juju?
No. It's like as soon as the fight's over, they taking their belt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's there
dumb.
for
Yeah.
promos.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Being
I-
paid for all.
Yo, you take a picture with this shit and then you skedaddle.
What does that belt look like? Let me look
Would
at
you
that
would
belt.
you go back and just get your chip back just cause fuck them?
Just off bragging.
Yeah, like on bragging rights.
Bro, how I am now, man, I feel like it would be like unfair. Like Shout out to my boy Sensation, killing it out there in Street Beast. He fucking literally has like 8 belts, and he's check him out. He's a head
How
kick
does that even work?
a lot of
Ask him.
They have different sports. They're kind of like one where they have
Muay Thai and like
they have
kickboxing.
Muay Thai,
East and the
kickboxing.
West are different promotions, and
Yeah,
then-
they have different champions, and they don't amalgamate that often.
And he's also went like up and down like hella weights.
These are dope ass belts. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
they
lie.
weren't bad. They was pretty good. A lot of people were
I would
shitting
love
on
to
him
take
back
that
in the
home.
day. But he got like 8 belts, and he's like a good amateur fighter. He trains out of like our sister gym sometimes in Myrtle Beach. So he's a high level amateur fighter, and that's somebody that I fought there like a couple years ago. So it'd be no reason to kind of go back just because of, like I feel like I'm, no offense, like fighting down, but I would love to go back and either referee or like kind of show face. Yeah, they're always great to me. Like we always have like a good like standing relationship. So
What's
always
your
good.
record there?
Like 8-0.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Do
gonna
they
say, I don't-
compensate fighters?
Never. Never.
Yeah, 'cause I was about to
Even
say,
the
like,
big promotions
you
don't
just-
do that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Say,
saying.
UFC isn't paying their fighters, and you think
Well,
Street Beast is paying theirs?
if I had $1 for every time a motherfucker asked me how much I got paid for Street Beast, I have as much money as
I got
if I
paid
actually
way
got
more
paid.
than Street Beast.
Exposure. You get paid in exposure.
Exactly.
That's what you did do. Like you did a great job. You got what, like 13K, almost 14 on YouTube. Like, that's your compensation.
What we should do?
22
We
on
should
the
all
gram.
sign up to Street Beast and have him coach us.
I'll be down. I'll be in every one of y'all corners.
I'm not a fighter. When I was sparring with Tyler, like I lined him up for a hook and I stopped. I was like, I can't.
He
punch
couldn't
him.
get it off.
No, I wanted
That
me and
couldn't have
Tyler to
been me
hit each
because I would
other.
have cracked Tyler with that hook, and I would have.
Okay,
I,
now
I hit Tyler
Wait.
with a good body shot, and he caught me. He pulled the punch like right as he was about to crack me on like my left jawline, and I was like, no, like if we hit each other, we hit each other. Like we're sparring. Don't be an asshole. Obviously, I'm not really loading up to hit you, but
I
like
couldn't punch my friend.
Okay,
let's
so
go.
wait,
It is
we
what it
said
is.
it was Tyler, right? We understand Tyler's a good dude. We can't line up and drop Tyler. We replaced Tyler with Xavier.
oh,
Oh,
it's
if I'm
on. It's on.
I'm like,
He's
I've
like,
been
trying to spar that motherfucker for
No,
years.
there was a reason that me and Tyler didn't like hand spar and we just wrestled,
Xavier's
and
not
me and him
pulling
didn't spar.
punches with me.
Look, so I'm sitting there waiting to spar with old buddy, and then he pops up and he goes, "You want to spar?" And I'm like, "I'm already sparring." He went, "No, me. It's the round about to start." I was like, "Bro, get out of here! You
Phil's
just want to
not
hurt
fun.
me."
Phil's not fun. Phil,
I'm not an asshole in sparring. Like I don't like hit you crazy or anything. I don't.
But
I
you
don't
also
hate
know,
hard.
you probably know what you doing too. Like you have like
He
an
knows
idea
a
of what
little
you're
bit
going.
more.
I have an idea, but I don't have the experience to back it up. So as I might know what things are called, I don't know the transitions to get there. I might understand what you can do out of like a full mount or a side mount or something like that. But the actual like what I'm supposed to do, I know what it's supposed to look like. I don't know how to do it myself.
Guys, like especially when most people are like kind of close to like the same skill set. Dude, just having a slight knowledge of the moves and how to perform, and even like he said, just having a mentality. He's like, all right, let's get sparring. Just having a mentality of, hey, I'm gonna get in there. I don't care if I get hit type shit. Like that just kind of changed the course
As
of how
long
sparring.
as it's
yeah.
respectful, there's nothing wrong with getting hit and sparring. Like,
But
obviously
you going
shouldn't
in
try
there
and
like
take my
knowing
head
like
off or
yeah, but you
anything,
going in there knowing, hey, like you could hit me type, and you even like, yo, if we hit each other, we hit each other type thing. But a lot of sometimes people
be
go in.
respectful.
There should be no malice behind it. There should not be like some ego. It's just it's iron
Maybe I would
sharpens
do it
iron.
with some
Try and do it a
headgear.
little bit better.
That's
That's
why I'd be like.
That's-
I would-
oh, yeah, no,
I would
that's a
most
great
likely
addition.
Probably do something like boxing instead of mixed martial arts because I feel a little bit safer in the headgear.
And anything like I feel like if you're gonna do it and if you're gonna do MMA, because you could always go grappling and that's a lot safer than like let's say if you are piecing your partner up on the feet, just take them down. Now you just gotta do jujitsu and wrestle, and you don't really gotta hit them too hard. Also, kickboxing is really good because you can always go to the body, go to the legs. And as you guys are saying, like we had on our small gloves. Like even if we're going intense, I'm not trying to rip small gloves to the face, but now I'll rip a body shot because
Thank you.
like bro, like if you drop from a body shot, get up, motherfucker. Like it's not gonna give you
so-
brain damage.
Are
Yeah, you're
are your
getting-
sparring gloves different than your in cage gloves?
Yeah. So
Yeah. 'Cause they
the
look
shell
shaped
ones,
different.
the shell ones I think are about like 10 ounces, and I think the regular ones are 4 ounces.
What is
6
the
ounces.
purpose of doing that? Like for endurance,
As far as
or like is it like gas tank training in a way where you got like heavier?
oh, the heavier gloves.
Rock Lee taking the weights off.
It's a little bit of that. It's mostly like protection for your partner.
That's fair.
Yeah, because if even if I'm controlling what I do, like if I hit you with a 6-ouncer versus we usually spar with like our big gloves, like 14 to 16, it's a huge fucking difference. Like the padding, like the way how like shots get dispersed.
So it's closer to like getting hit with the actual fist.
So like the
in the
closer,
ring.
the closer the fights, like the smaller we end up going. Like usually if we're going, if nobody has a fight or whatever, we're going like 14, 16-ounce gloves. If we're getting ready for a fight, maybe you might go to 12 to 10s, and the closer to the fight, we get the little bubble gloves that are like 8 to 10.
Okay. I have 2 questions.
Go ahead.
So one's going to be a more technical. I'll start with that one. There are different styles of rings, octagons, whatever. And I've seen that you've fought throughout your career a few different types. There's a square cage. There's your more typical octagon cage. You had the chain link street beef's backyard cage.
Oh, you talking about the plywood?
Yeah, like the actual makeup of where you're
2x4s.
fighting in. Do you have a preference? Have you noticed a drastic difference between what you can do?
Yeah, like all cages are different. Me, for like my preference, I like a smaller cage just because I'm a grappler and like the closer I could get you to the damn cage, and like I'm not really trying to fucking sprint after you all damn fight, you fucking dancing around. So I like smaller cages. I really like the canvas is really important to me. Like some canvases you think, oh man, that looks real good, but then like underneath it's a bitch if you get slammed, or sometimes the canvas is really fucking slippery and you can like lose your place, depending on also where like they put logos and shit on the fight.
Yeah, it's all vinyl and shit.
On the canvas and shit. You have different cages. Some promotions have like tighter cages, looser cage. I like a tighter cage just because if we bounce off the cage, I ain't having you like, I don't want you to sag into the cage too much. And I will say like the most interesting one I've been in was this fight promotion called Global Legion, and they have like a fucking like a box cage.
I
like,
saw
yeah,
that.
like a
I
steel
watched that
cage.
fight.
And what's crazy about that shit, if you could get a motherfucker in a corner, which is worse than like you see like in the octagon, like, oh, he's up against the cage, but it's different to have him up against a corner and like literally like how you gonna turn.
like
It's harder to
WWE
it's harder to
Yeah,
sort
so,
out, like,
especially
you know?
with a motherfucker like me who loves getting into the wall, who loves like dirty boxing, clinching. Yeah, that's some savage shit. I really like that.
Fucked up.
I was
I
gonna
feel
say-
like not a lot of fighters are ever going to experience that. So if you end up there, you might
never want to go back
You might
ever
not,
again.
never want to.
That's the one thing everybody was talking about when we were like going to like pre-fight ways. I'm like, yo, don't get fucking caught in that corner. Don't get caught in that corner.
It's crazy.
I think the one that my favorite to watch is definitely the wooden street beef plywood, because I'm a dick. So when you see a grappler in street beef slam someone into that cage and like the cage tips a little bit, or like I saw like 3 or 4 people get thrown through the door, and then there's people trying to hold the door.
hold the line, hold the line.
And then but they're not stopping the fight. The ref's just like, no, keep working. And so they're halfway out the cage trying to pull
It's
their
like a
body
fucking
back
steel
in.
cage match.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers try to jump off the top.
There's a couple people. I know. I feel like Viking, in my personal opinion, got it worse. You slammed him into the plywood, and he was just on his back, folded up, and he's just so long that he couldn't do anything. I was like, oh, he's whooping his ass.
I feel real bad. One fight, y'all can look it up and put the clip. But I was going against my boy Sensation, and it was like the end of the first. Like I had his back, and I was trying to like choke him, but it's a thing you do. Like he grabbed like both of my hands. I had like control of my hands, like so I couldn't like hit him or choke him like underneath him. So I'm like, I couldn't get my hands loose, but he couldn't defend because like his hands were grabbing my hands. So I actually kind of fucking clocked him against the cage a couple times. Like, yeah. People had a like. Some people in the comments didn't like that. They thought it was dirty, but dude, like you're holding my hands and you're not defending your head. Like it's not.
If we sit there, we're
Yeah, I'm about to
stalling.
say like you could let go of my hands
There's
and
not
stop.
a rule against it. It's your fault.
Exactly. It's a difference between something dirty and something mean. That was me.
That's fair. To segue this into the second question I had, I want to get more into just you as a person, besides just being a fighter. Obviously, being a fighter and this sport is very near and dear, close to who you are. Tell us about how you got into it. What led to this passion for MMA or martial arts in general?
So like some people like they're just born into it. Some people kind of just find it. I feel like I'm a mix of both because even as a young kid, like I couldn't really make it in football because my I was too tall for football. You know, they can't use somebody like me. Same with basketball. They
He
were
might have
like,
been a nice running back.
yeah, right.
It's probably really hard to tackle your.
I get behind somebody's leg. You don't see me, man. We scoot right to the end zone. But
And if you do catch him, he's still gonna toss you. Strong.
drop the shoulder on fools. But no, like I got into wrestling as a younger kid. My dad wrestled, really like high level wrestler. He wanted to go to college for it, unfortunately wasn't able to do it. And he always told me when I was younger, wrestling is going to be like the sport that you kind of take off in. Wrestling taught me like how to work hard, how to grind, you know, put that work in. And then all throughout the years, I just kind of picked up like, you know, doing some boxing classes here, doing some Muay Thai here, doing jiu-jitsu here. So
You always just been adjacent to it.
yeah, exactly. And, you know, of course, like when the UFC was coming out, like, hey guys, like, yo, let me try this choke out on you, or I seen this on YouTube type shit, right? So
Watching Down Fried.
exactly. I'm like, yo,
Hey, if some dude says, I just saw this fight, bro, we should try this out, and he pulls up Takayama versus Don Fry,
Oh, they're just so-
I'm leaving. I'm leaving. No, we're not trying that shit out. No.
That shit looked like. I
That looked
remember
like
watching
WWE,
Pride
for
for the
sure.
first time.
his eye after the end of that first round was gnarly.
Ridiculous, dude.
Like I watched so much WWE, I was like, it doesn't look like they're hitting each other.
Yeah, no, that looked like a WWE spot.
They were scripted. And then, I don't know. I watched a couple Pride fights because he introduced me to Pride, and I was like, this isn't a sport. This is like Spartan Cage Warrior. This is
That was that real shit.
But I mean, that's what we like.
no,
as
not
sports
that.
fans. No, as sports
Yeah.
fans, we kind of want to see violence all the time.
I mean,
Pride
yeah,
was
you
like-
see that even nowadays. There's people that will sit there and bitch and moan about grappling in fights because
Pride is
Yeah.
like Mario Yamasaki inside the Roman Coliseum.
I get where you're coming
just
from.
Mario Yamasaki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Mario Yamasaki and the Yakuza. Like, you have
That's
to let
true.
them
You did
brutalize
have
you.
some fixed fights over there in Pride back in the day.
They would beat you until your like
I mean,
brain
think
was
about it.
goo.
Throughout human history, you got gladiators in the Roman era. You got jousting in the Middle Ages. Like
Would
we
you-
just love violence.
I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie. It's one thing to be a gladiator, but if you knock me off my motherfucking horse, I
And you
am
break the
I
stick on
am
my chest?
unsheathing on you. I will hunt you down. Getting knocked off a horse with a big stick, I
A big
gotta kill
sharp
you.
stick that might pierce your armor.
You guys ever been?
I
to
gotta
medieval
kill you. You
times?
knocked me. You ever got
I
knocked
like
off
that.
a horse?
I like that.
Yes.
You guys ever been to
I've
medieval
been
times?
jousting.
Fuck that.
Phil.
I have not been to medieval times. I would love to go though.
Imagine.
I'm gonna
Close
drag
your
you
eyes.
guys to the
Imagine
Ren Fair this year.
I want to go to the
Dudes
one
in fucking
Geneva.
night, like head to toe, stainless steel. They hand you a mutton and
A mutton.
That motherfucking
like a
turkey
a
leg.
48
Single mutton.
Imagine a 48-ounce chilled glass of beer.
Mark,
and a
you're making
mutton.
my cock
I
hard.
was gonna say,
Oh.
it's just like you're describing something that's magical.
I
to
went
me.
there before. I was at the legal drinking age, but
Were there maidens with breasts as far as the eye could see?
yeah, they were wearing corsets and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I need some mutton, some beer, and some boobs. I'm there.
That's Sunday. That's Sunday football right there. Like that was the Middle Ages. You know, that is my 1 o'clock on a Sunday.
This guy's the Aaron Rodgers of fucking jousting.
Speaking of you as a person, though, the way that we contacted you, I feel like is kind of weird.
Hit me in the DMs.
I mean,
For
yeah, you
nowadays,
can go ahead and
I
talk
like-
about that.
Okay, but to be fair,
So,
yeah, it was like 3 in the
Xavier-
morning,
yeah.
drunk text.
Xavier, go ahead and explain how we got in contact with him, because I feel like it's a
So,
little.
me and Phil were out drinking one night, and I returned to my home, and I beveraged up more. And then I was watching Street Beefs as I do. Whenever I'm drunk, my favorite thing to do is to watch Street Beefs. And one of your fights came up, and I watched it, and I was like, I gotta call, bro. Like, I'm about to text him. So I drunk texted you, and I
What
was
did you
like,
say? Give us
my
some-
phone's upstairs. It was like, hey man, like, really big fan, like, really like appreciate. I was just like, I was glazing. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, he dick riding, but like, you know.
Ah, nah, he just reaching out. He was nice.
Yeah.
He was nice.
But yeah, no,
Said,
it
hey,
was,
big bro.
But you know what gave me the confidence to
Stop
do
it,
that?
bruh.
What gave me the confidence to even reach out the first time was, I reshared something from his story just because I was like, oh, like he has like a fight that's not Street Beefs coming up, and I shared it, and then he liked it, and I was like, oh, okay, he might
guy's
respond.
active.
Yeah, like he might respond. So then, yeah, I drunk texted. I woke up the next morning with a notification that said, hey man, like appreciate it, like good looking out, and I was just like, there ain't no way. The first thing I did was flex it on Snapchat. I screenshotted it. And posted
Everybody says that. Like anytime, like people, I always get this a ton of time. People like, I know you're probably never gonna read this, but you're one of my favorites, and you really inspired me. Like 2 seconds later, I'm like, oh man, really appreciate that. They're like, oh shit, I can't believe
That
you
makes
inspired it,
somebody's
type shit.
it. Hell
He said,
yeah.
all right, nerd.
Yeah, right. Right.
Nah, I'm just
queer. I'm like,
Thanks, little bro.
You should start little broing them.
That's
We've started little broing each other, and it
Oh
gets
my
so bad.
God.
It's so bad.
And
Hey, go ahead, pass me that, little bro. Like,
last time
it
that
gets
happened-
egregious.
Last time that happened this weekend, these two got into a grappling match.
They little bro off. Like,
the worst one that I've ever seen is we were at a music video shoot for our friend Carter.
oh, we're gonna
And
talk
Phil-
about
I gotta
that.
hear this one.
Phil did it in front of the hoes. Phil Lil Bro,
Okay,
this 6'3" dreadhead.
So my friend, our friend, he makes music, and we were at a small video shoot. It's supposed to be like the music video is supposed to be like a house party, right? And he, in local rapper fashion, showed up late, and so I felt it upon myself to fuck with him a little bit because I had to wait on you.
of course.
And so I was, at this time, I got into a very weird kick of I was just going to drink vodka straight up with a little bit of ice and a little bit of like Crystal Light or Mio.
Crazy.
No,
This
no
is
pop, no
this is
soda,
a
no
man of
chaser.
taste in high regards. I like what he's
I was
doing
trying
here.
out something new. So I
Hated what he was doing.
I got a real far into the bottle. I was
He
like
drank an
3
entire
I was,
fifth of
yeah,
Belvedere.
over the course of the night. Yes,
A
I
little
was,
twisted, a little twisted.
I was
you.
about 3/4 of the way through a bottle over the course of a few hours, and one of his best friends that is also a rapper, they, being as close of friends as they are and being of similar build and stature, you might swap a hoodie or something. Let me borrow a shirt. So they had a pink Bape hoodie, like one of the ones that zips up.
It was real,
And it's
everything.
it's a real Bape hoodie, whatever, whether you're into it or not. And the first time I saw his friend wearing it, I made fun of him, and I was like, "You're wearing fake Bape. You're wearing fake designer," and just busting his balls.
Okay, yeah.
So now we're there at the video shoot. He's probably about where the camera is from me, maybe another.
Takes
2
off his
feet.
puffer jacket.
He takes off his puffer jacket. He's wearing the jacket instead of his friend, and I was like, "Hey, what's up with that jacket? I thought that was his." And he goes, "Yeah, like he just needed something to wear that night for the concert or whatever. It was kind of cold outside. I let him borrow the hoodie." And so across the room, I went, "Wow, having to borrow fake Bape is crazy."
In front of the girl.
The
Yo,
girls laughed at
yo,
him.
yo.
The cinematographer, like the camera
Yeah,
guy,
the camera
stopped,
dude
he
stopped
started laughing
recording.
at
The
him.
recoil.
I felt so bad.
Well, you might be Mark from RDC War because that is top fucking
That was-
instigation. I'm like, oh, not if.
The worst part is you can tell when our friend gets mad because he'll either hit like a giggle and like he's like it's all
Yeah,
fun and games.
that's wow.
But no, but then he'll hit the. All right, bro, you dragging it. You
dragging
he
it.
says that you gotta understand.
Wow, man, you so funny, bro.
Yes.
You so
And he was hurt, and like these girls are like, like pointing and laughing, like he's so sick.
I felt so bad.
I would have walked out with the hurt. It's like, what did I do to you? What would force you to do this? What did I do to you? In front of the host? In front of the host, really, Phil?
In front of the hose, my brother.
I wouldn't even be mad. I just look at you so hurt. I'm like, I thought we were better than this.
Come on, big bro.
We're on the same team.
Yeah, right. Don't do me like that, big bro.
All right, cool. So, David, just real quick, some of your favorite fights some of your favorite professional fights or personal fights that you have or you watched.
In like no particular order, because these are like kids, man. You can't pick your favorite.
Yeah.
But like, even though you might have one in your head, but I'm not gonna say which one is over which one. So just in no particular order, my man knows Aldo versus Mendez 2.
All right.
Fucking, if you want to know why I feel like Aldo is the featherweight GOAT and arguably one of the GOATs of the sport, go back, watch that. And if you guys unfortunately got to see Chad Mendez too late in his career, that's like prime Chad Mendez. Really enjoyed DJ versus Dotson 1. A lot of people couldn't even touch DJ. That's like the first time we really see DJ hurt in a fight. But he showed that championship heart, came back. That's a great fight. Rory and Robbie, come on, that's like everybody
That
knows.
might be the greatest
Everybody
fight of all
knows that.
time.
Bro. That's like those three really easy ones I could just like right off the top of the dome.
I got a question for you.
So talking about top flight talent, do you think you could at least, I don't know what your opinion of yourself is, but do you think you could hang with a top flight UFC talent in a 3-round fight?
Yeah. But I like call it what you want. I am very young in the sport, and shout out to those guys. They are where they are because they put in the work and they are extremely talented. But if I didn't feel like I could be the best in the world at what I was doing, I would not, get up at the hours I'm getting up. I wouldn't go through the hell that I go through every day if I felt like I couldn't hang with these guys. So yeah, especially now, do I think I could hang with a couple? Yeah, give me 3-4 years.
Come
on now.
Was it Sterling?
No. It's Moreno. Young Brandon.
What is it?
When it comes to Brandon Moreno, I feel like this can lead into an interesting topic. Do you think that they, at least UFC-wise, do you think that they throw out interim titles a little too fast?
Yes. I mean, we saw they made the interim heavyweight title when Francis had just won the title less than 5 months ago.
I think
it was clear
that
though that he's
interim
not coming
titles
back.
mean less. I'm going to be honest with you, because let's say the champion of your division leaves on injury notice, right? If it's unsure if he's coming back or not, so you have an interim title fight of the 2 best fighters that are still active in that division. I think that the notion of just because it's an interim title fighter, oh, you're holding so-and-so's belt, I think that is such a cheap and degrading way to view that fighter's accomplishment.
Especially the
But
situation with
I also think
incumbent.
you can't just throw it out for nothing. You can't just throw out an interim title fight in a division that might be a little stagnant or something like that just because you want it to market it.
I mean, that's what a UFC
if you
does.
have the reason to do it, if you actually have somebody that's out for a while on injury, maybe like in the Volk and Islam scenario, he moved up and you want to keep that division moving along, that's fine. But even as we discussed earlier with the Colby title fight, Leon said on Twitter the other day, I'm probably not going to fight Colby, blah, 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 he doesn't deserve it. And they said, you can hold out for as long as you want, we will have an interim title fight, and then you'll have to fight whoever wins. I think using that as a bargaining chip or as a marketing device, I get it, titles are what titles are. I don't want to diminish what that title means, but I also don't think you should diminish your real title or what fighters have accomplished by just throwing it out willy-nilly.
Why can't they just put some more weight on being number 1 contender or number 1 ranked?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Because
Even if you're the second best guy in that division, do you understand how goddamn hard it is to be the second best in the fucking world?
And especially since you're on a world stage.
That's crazy.
If you're ranked highly in anything that's weighted throughout the whole world, you got guys from Brazil, Asia,
The world.
South America, Central
the rest of
America,
the world.
North America, every single continent.
Other regions.
Is this the world?
Every single
Places.
Okay, there's guys in every single continent.
Yeah.
Come on.
But basically what Phil said is exactly true. The only reason why it happens is because the UFC it's a marketing tool. Yeah, we could have this fight headline this pay-per-view, but it's not a title fight. Is it really going to sell if maybe the people don't know these guys? They're not
what's the point of having the belt?
Because the casual.
interim
Once you see a title fight up, you automatically assume that it means more because the belt's on the line.
Yeah. There's
That's when it's
something
just a
to
marketing
it.
tool, and
That's
that's probably why people think it means nothing, because you're just forcing a champion. And
As Phil was saying, if the person is in the Volk scenario, he moves up. That's a good way to keep that division going ahead. Of all right, you had this, and we're gonna keep pushing you. And you may you're gonna probably get that title fight because you're the interim champ, and they kind of unify that division. It's a good way of it keeps the fans interested, especially the real hardcore, diehard fans. That's especially if someone who deserves it win it. For example, I think it's bantamweight.
And that's their motto. That's their motto. They're really going after these core fans because
Before you go there, I want to play Devil's Avocado with what you just said. If y'all watch the Believe You Me podcast, that's something they like to say.
Here and there.
Yeah, right. So to play Devil's Avocado, yeah, it seems okay, this is this is good for, like, I guess what you say, like, the fighters, because, like, it kind of gives them, like, notoriety.
Yeah.
But you in that Volk Islam scenario, they didn't have to make that interim fight between Josh and Yair. I personally liked it because I like Josh, and if he was able to hold that, like, part of that title, that would have been just cool for him. But nothing would have changed if that would have just been a number one contenders fight, and now we have Volk versus, like, because Volk wasn't gone far, like, long enough in the featherweight division to warrant an interim title. So he could have just been the number one contender who was waiting. Volk still got back in time. We don't need an interim belt.
This is true, but that also hinged on the result of Volk and Islam, because if Volk would have beat Islam and have become double champ, it is up to his discretion on whether or not he wants to stay in that division and defend the 155 belt, or if he was going to move immediately back. And even if he did move immediately back, when?
Yeah, but just like you said,
so like
I don't know if he would have stayed that heavy.
But
I don't think so
feel like
either, but you still are going to hold up the division because now you have recovery time and then you have more fight time.
But like you said, if he would have won that, but they booked that fight like the same night as him versus Volk, so they didn't give Volk a chance if he would have won. Like, remember when Conor won and they were like, now you kind of hanging up. Now we. But they took forever to strip Conor from both belts.
Well, because
he was Conor, he was the gold.
Yeah, of course.
But I feel like in a lot of these scenarios, like the Izzy Pereira fight, they knew after that fight, it was before the fight happened. There was murmurs and whatever about how Alex is going to move up to 205. So I feel like a lot of the time they do have an inkling, or they've already made the decision behind the scenes that maybe some casual fans who aren't listening to all the UFC podcasts and stuff like that.
why are you going to tease us?
Because
It's fine.
That
yeah.
sucks.
No, it doesn't.
And like you just said, man, like you guys seem to be pretty tapped in, like you know what's going on a little bit behind the scenes. But like you said, if I'm just like real casual with this shit, right, and I don't know why this guy is like he's on a 10-fight win streak and why I should really care that he's the number one contender.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't. Maybe he's like an Arnold Allen, right? And maybe you can't sell. Maybe you can't sell the Arnold Allen fight to vote off the strength of that. But if you give Arnold Allen
That interim
belt, then it's on champion versus champion, bro.
Exactly.
Champion versus champion.
If you're not going to feed him
That doesn't
some
do anything.
older veteran or something like that, like that's what they were trying to do with the Max Holloway fight. If Arnold Allen could beat Max Holloway, you could say, "Oh my God, Arnold Allen beat Max Holloway. Now he's a world beater."
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel
But if
like
he lost,
once you start that's starting to creep towards the boxing model where you have too
Of
many
course,
belts,
it's
too
funny.
many belts
I
floating
agree.
around, and it doesn't have as much weight. Why don't we
I
just leave
disagree.
that weight on number one contender and the champ is the champ? of that
I would
division?
rather do like that, and like you said, only if it's an extenuate. Maybe the champ has a long, like a perfect example for an interim title would have been a Yuri situation because Yuri got hurt. But shout out to Yuri, he decided he didn't want to hold up the division. But that's when you make an interim title because that's your undisputed guy. He can't fight for maybe over a year, and now that interim title, maybe you can even have the interim guy have one title defense. So now that interim title actually means some shit.
You know who does number one contender very well? I hate to say it, but WWE puts a lot of weight on like number one contender, and I feel like
Mark has come around.
Oh my God.
From being a WWE hater.
I'm not a WWE hater.
Yes,
It
you
just
are.
doesn't tickle my fancy
Yes,
anymore.
you are.
But they
You're
put
right.
a lot of weight on the guy being the number one contender for a belt. I feel like the UFC should
That's
push
because
that hard.
I think Mark is saying what the UFC needs is a Money in the Bank match. Make it happen.
Let it happen.
Any weight class you want, you get a title
As
opportunity.
goofy as that
Cash in.
sounds,
Middleweight title fight, give me a ladder match.
Okay, I feel like
Give me TLC in the
Well,
as
ring.
goofy as that sounds, that might be kind of fun.
Then right after Islam, where it's like, oh my God, who's coming down to the ring? It's Alex
Money in the
Volkanovski.
Bank fight would be amazing. I would love that.
No, that tournament style that you were talking about earlier, you take that tournament style, just do rapid fire. Like, dude, like,
All Joe's
choke
gonna
somebody
come out after winning
Next
money.
year.
Kamaru Usman, it's you.
But
Now, whose music is that?
I feel
No, it's that by God, Dan Hooker is making his way down to the ring.
I would say this. I would say back to what Mark was saying. I think because in the UFC, because of like everybody's not fighting at the same time, and let's say your number one contender is I just want to say this. I think it's kind of bullshit what's happening in Sterling how he's on a.
They're trying to wax him.
Yeah, they are trying to wax
Just
him.
because they don't like it, man. That's bullshit.
Well, because I wouldn't say they don't like Aljo.
No, they don't like him.
They don't like him.
Damn.
They don't.
But I was about to say, I feel like it's just more of the fact that if you had a face like Sean in place, that is gonna move the needle a little bit more.
I
at
think
the
you should just give me the best fight possible. I don't care about.
I agree with Mark on this
If I'm a fight fan, like I'm a casual fan, so I'm not really watching the weigh-ins, paying attention to all the talk.
I think the weigh-ins
like that.
are incredible as they used
Hey,
to.
I'm not
think
gonna
to get more-
lie. I watch every fight that I am able to watch, but I don't even.
But the
God, I
fights
was
that I
great
do watch,
movie about
like
the weigh-in.
I become a fan of a fighter if they put out a great performance. If you give me the most quality fight you give me, I will follow those two fighters, like JJ and Zane.
Okay, wait, hold up. Like, I gotta stop right here. I love that notion that people love to say that, right? And I feel like you guys are more closer to like hardcore fans than casual fans.
Yeah.
But like you said, like you want to see the weigh-ins and everything. You want all that. But the same people that are like, yo, I would rather see like the best guy fight, like. But would you really want to see that? It's like I said, like we were on earlier. There's tons of guys in ONE and tons of guys in Bellator and everything who are world-class fighters that nobody gives a fuck about.
You're not wrong.
Nobody gives a fuck about. Like, how can you promote this to me? And everybody wants to see. I want to see the most technical fights. I want to see one versus one. No, you don't. No, you want the UFC to lie to you. You want the UFC to tell you Paddy Pimblett is the biggest shit, and that every fight that he on right now, you want him to win. That's what they want you to say. Khamzat Chimaev is the most dominant motherfucker, even though like the best person he fought before Gilbert Burns was fucking GN3, and he's gonna make you believe that he's a fucking world beater. Like, let the UFC lie to y'all, because y'all want the UFC to lie.
They love the story.
Exactly.
I feel like on what you were saying, I feel like that's completely correct. I think that most people, no offense, but a lot of people don't like Izzy, and the reason why they don't like Izzy is because Izzy does sometimes he's a champion. He is gonna take a fight off. He may not. He may take a round. He may take 2 rounds off. Mm-hmm. But if he's up on the cards, he's not. Hey, and we're taking this a decision. I'm going to go to 4th. I'm going to go to the 5th.
I thought we want the best person to best. Oh yeah, we want the best, but I don't want my champion to run. I don't want him to be a put. Why you winning by decision? You will lay and pray.
I'm not about to chase a knockout.
You're born. Like, bro,
I'm not about to chase a knockout all 5 rounds. Like, I don't need that.
Exactly.
Like, if I felt like I really needed a knockout and it didn't come in the first 3, yes. And if I'm up 3. If I'm up 3 rounds by the 4th round, yes, I'm probably going to take these last 2 rounds.
You can have an entertaining fight and
not get knocked out.
I agree with that because I think that we're getting into the territory of like, oh, if you want to be the champion, you really gotta beat the champion, and it's like, no. If it's a close fight, you shouldn't just get the edge because you're already the champion. Like, if you want to fight smart, you want to fight defensive, and if all you're giving me for 2 rounds is a few leg kicks, a few jabs, and you just
5 rounds.
I'm not gonna say nothing about your skill.
5 rounds.
I would appreciate it.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
25 minutes.
25 minutes of fighting is hard.
Oh, of course. You gotta manage your stamina and everything.
But
like,
I
don't
really
care if
don't.
you're a champion or not. If you're gonna sit there, dance around the ring, and avoid your opponent, there is something to say about I don't enjoy watching that stuff.
For that, like, and I get it's always a stop, but that's always a preference, and it's always and it usually happens in a moment, but once you're able to kind of see down the line, it always changes. Everybody wants like, oh, these dominant champions. How many dominant champions have we had? But they have bad performances. Nobody can be like amazing every fight.
So everybody's look at the switch up that happened for Usman.
I was just about to say, what happened to Snoozman? You're born. You're
Exactly.
a foot stomper. And guess what? Knockout Burns, knockout Jorge, drop Kobe, and both now you're the GOAT. Now you're arguably up there with GSP. I thought I just said a couple fights ago he was born.
He was born, exactly.
Oh wait. Izzy, you're so excited you just knocked out Pereira. But bro, your last couple fights were boring, man. You didn't do nothing against Cannonier. You didn't do nothing against Joel. But exactly, but even if you're
those were very extreme cases.
GSP had a couple of boring fights. He jabbed off Koscheck's face. He didn't really put away some of the other guys on his dynamic run.
He did kind of whoop Koscheck's ass.
Yeah,
it wasn't a brutal beatdown, but it was a systematic.
Didn't finish Alves. Didn't finish John Fitch. It's a bunch of guys he did. People how many did Anderson had that bad fight against Latest? He had that bad fight against Maya. Everybody forgets these when you talk about they GOATs because they think about like the high performances.
The legacy.
But once you're in the middle of it, like, but if we're living through it, of course you're gonna judge it harder because it's like, all right, this is what I see, and this is what I see you do before. So like, I give these guys grace. Like, for every Adesanya versus, Pereira, the second one, or Costa, you might get a Yoel. You might get a
slower fight.
Yeah, like a slower fight.
One that they're actually gonna have to grind it up. Like, all right, I can't. Like, it's not even like
Steve maybe Kelly years off, but like
sometimes it may not even be that. I can't get a submission. I can't get a knockout. I am going to have to take this decision.
I think
it is going to be a slower fight. It's going to be a more paced fight. Because, no offense, none of these fighters want to get knocked out.
Yeah.
No one wants to get hit in the head. Like, you're going to take a few headshots, yes. If they get you clean, they get you clean. That's all that is. But I really don't want to go to sleep. Like, I want to avoid that with all possibility. So if I'm going to take, maybe I'm going to clinch them up a little bit more and try to take them into the cage, take them to the ground.
I think people underrate preparation because in any sport, preparation is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Like from NFL to mixed martial arts to boxing, if I can out-prepare you, there's something to be said for that. Like, for example, in the NFL, like, if you can anaconda plan and hold the
Look at
football.
Bilal Muhammad's career.
Oh, hold up. I do agree with what you said,
Floyd.
but fighting is different from like
Look at Floyd.
those sports.
But there's something to be said for preparing for your opponent every time.
Look at-
Look
at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd is let's say his first, 20 or so fights. Yeah, he actually go out there, he'll probably get a few finishes and he'll look dominant. But after fight 35, something like that, yeah, hey, come to me. I got the belt, I got everything. No, come to me. Show me why you should take it. And he has good finishes. Now, if you want to talk some crap about what the 50th fight should have been Conor or whatever, that's fair.
Yeah,
but he put down people like Canelo in his prime. Canelo in his prime. Canelo in his prime.
Canelo was in his prime.
Yeah, he was young.
He was close to it, but he was still pretty young at that
It was a
point.
robbery.
It wasn't a robbery.
Floyd robbed. I haven't watched that.
That's a controversial and wrong opinion. I'm just gonna say, but
I would have to rewatch the fight if I'm going to say that
I've
was a
never watched that
robbery,
fight.
but I know that he was young.
Yeah,
He was not the Canelo.
he was still redhead Canelo.
You know.
Real pale.
I'm gonna say it's I feel like it like to what Mark's saying. It is something about preparation, and a lot of sometimes what you prepare for is I'm not gonna get a finish. I'm not gonna get a
And
knockout.
sometimes that maturity when you get older kind of helps you because you
I'm not gonna
think your
chase
strengths and
like a
weaknesses.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
chase something that I know that this guy he has a good chin. He has a good ground game. Yeah, I'm gonna have to win on the cards.
I feel like that's why it's rare in UFC. Like you have like older champions, not like older like.
All the champions are old. They're all mid-30s.
Yeah, because there's something to be said for preparing.
But I wouldn't say that that's old, because at least what we've seen in the last decade or so, just for an example, your MMA prime is like 29 to 34.
Yeah.
That's
a little later
that's
if you're
that's just what
heavier
we've
guy.
seen.
Like heavyweights and light heavyweights are usually.
I mean, what's the youngest champ right now?
The youngest champ right
I think
now?
Aljo's the youngest at like
How old
He's
is
like
28,
32.
32. Oh,
Yeah, I think I was like
Yeah, no.
Because I feel like it's very rare that you see a champion in his 20s.
You don't see champions in their 20s. The youngest champion of all time was, I think, John Jones. He
At
was like
22.
22, maybe 21.
I think he was at 25. I think he was, yeah. Because I think in 21 he had to be in like college or some shit.
Because I know, not Aspen Ladd. She was her nickname was like the Future. I forget her name, but she was supposed to be. It might have been Macy Barber. She was supposed to be the youngest UFC champion ever at 21 or 22. Like that was the cutoff that she had to make. So I assume that was John Jones that got it because I know he got it young, but I might be misremembering.
If he won at 22, like somebody fact checking, that would have been ridiculous.
But he also got it in an era that like you could see people in the same time frame. Like Brock Lesnar had 3 fights, and his 3rd fight was a title shot. Like it wasn't like today where you really have to grind 4 or 5.
They were searching for
fights.
top flight talent,
Yeah,
pushing for it.
it was a different marketplace. The sport was in a different era and time, and I'm not faulting it for that.
Yeah, big
but
facts.
it is much harder nowadays to become a champ at an early age than it was before.
Well, and the sport has grown so much.
That's what I'm
since then.
saying.
Like UFC was basically the only promotion that was nationally televised in the United States.
Yeah.
Like now,
You had
now you have
Barry
one.
Bonds they were out.
You have
Now you can make a career out of it. So
Yeah.
you get more. The talent pool widens.
Just want to say it was John Jones, youngest champion at 23.
23. Okay, that is.
So yeah, she had to be
wow, we're
22.
fucking up at 23.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, he was
Yeah.
a Division I wrestler. Like he's like it's not the same thing. Also, he comes from good money. Like his brothers, both his
genetics.
I say yeah, both his brothers played in the NFL. So like it wasn't like we're kind of doing this off the
Who's his
ground.
brother?
In football, like Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones.
Chandler
Chris
Jones, and his
Arthur
older
Jones.
brother is Arthur Jones, and he won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. So like, homie got money,
Imagine
bro.
roughhousing with
And he
Chandler
wasn't.
Jones.
He wasn't.
I wonder why I'm with John Jones. They're like, yo,
gotta go to the
chill,
gym like
chill,
that.
John.
How big is Chandler Jones?
I'm sorry, bro.
6'5".
After John did like 2 years of 2 to 3 years of wrestling, I guarantee you they wasn't fucking with him no more. Like, yo, John, stop hitting me in them fucked up holes and shit. I guarantee you. I don't care how big they were.
When you get cradled.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's brutal.
when the little
He
brother
fucking beat you in
started
a
choking,
half and turn you over. You not fucking with him.
yeah, when little brother started choking you out, and you thought you had him on the ground, but he snuck something in.
Yeah.
At that point, it's sibling rivalry. If they turn you over in like a half Nelson or something, they're sneaking an arm under your rib cage.
Oh, I'll give you a nice little noogie. Oh no, it's.
I have a question. How do you feel about we'll talk about John Jones. How do you feel about that John Jones fight with Cyril Gane? Because honestly,
I was so upset.
we were watching the fight, and you know we're chilling. We're like, we just think this is about to be a long fight.
Really?
And
I was like, who is
Oh,
that?
me.
no,
You thought it was gonna be a long fight?
I thought they were
I thought it
going
was
to go over 3. I
Usually
could see
it's
a
pretty
decision.
accurate.
I felt like it was going at least 3 rounds. Like I thought like maybe he gets a submission in the 3rd round, something like that. Cause I saw him, but then I saw Gane get out of it. So I looked away, talking to everybody, and then all we hear is the crowd go crazy on the TV. We look over, he's up, and I'm like what happened?
I was so mad.
Dude,
Tyler was
I
more
wasn't
mad than
mad.
me, and I had money on.
I wasn't
Can't hate.
I wouldn't say it was anger. It was more shock. Like I just saw you get out of that choke. How did you get choked out in the same position? I just saw you. That bitch was not in. How did you get choked out?
That bitch was in.
He flopped. They gave him some money on the top because okay, but on the replay,
Do you think
On the
that
replay, I saw it.
possible?
On the
Or do you
replay,
think
I
John
saw
Jones
it.
is that him?
I said on the replay I saw it, and I was like this. Alright.
Okay, but
Yeah.
we're gonna play like what's that shit? We're gonna have 2020. Like looking back at it, like it's easy to say, but bro, like look at all the signs. Like he got out wrestled by Francis with 2 bum knees. With 2 bum knees.
This is very true.
But I didn't
I will
expect
also
him so
say, when we look at John's track record, John hadn't had a finish since DC in 2016, 2017.
Do we say because John Jones wasn't good, or was John Jones not motivated? Did he really not care anymore?
I hate the argument of not being motivated.
I mean,
If you're motivated.
Because
enough to make
anytime
the
you
weight,
step in the
show
ring, you
up.
should be motivated.
Even I just saying that he was that good that he could just cruise through whatever. And
Okay, it's like-
that says more about the state what his division was in than how good that he is. If you can not carry your way through fights, you're fighting fucking.
Wait,
bums.
did Michael Jordan really care about the regular season? Does Jimmy Butler really care about the regular season?
Jimmy Butler probably.
Well, okay, but when it came down,
No, yeah,
to
because
crunch
that's a
time,
very different team. You're talking about like
when it
breaking
came
like
down to
74
crunch
wins.
time, they cared.
No, that's what I'm
They
saying.
had
Right?
a
Like you know,
season
and
to
he did,
fuck
and he
off.
did.
He
But
had to
and
turn off
during
and not
during
be in
crunch
the gym.
time, he did care against Lyoto Machida, against Shogun Rua, against Rampage Jackson, against Daniel Cormier, against all these guys who would make him get up and fight, and who actually bring real fear to this man. But then after all that, you telling me I gotta get up for.
If you don't want to train, you want to do.
I mean, like, no, and I'm not saying like if he would have
I think
lost,
that
it
makes
would have been
sense.
on him. But bro, like, for me, he's got to get up for Dominic Reyes. He got to get up for
Dominic
Thiago
Reyes,
Santos.
hey, out of all of the fights that we've talked about tonight, most of them were at Robert.
Can I ask you one thing? Like, we see
Dominic Reyes
we
won
see
that
what
fight.
John did against, and you can say whatever happened further down their career, but we see what happened the first time when John went against Gustafsson, right?
Yeah.
He didn't respect him, right? He did not train for that fight, and he went 5 brutal rounds. What happened when John seen him again? Did he go 1 round? decimated him. Look, oh, y'all think that was my hardest fight? Y'all think he was really that good? Or I really didn't care about him? And what happened when he cared about him? He didn't even need a round to take him out.
I mean,
he didn't need a round.
I see what you're saying, but even John Jones has admitted this in interviews that he would put himself in these positions of like, oh, I went out and partied and did coke all night and was getting drunk because he wanted a built-in excuse. He's admitted this himself.
Of course.
Like, yeah, no, I forced myself to not take you seriously because I couldn't handle the loss if I took you seriously and still lost. I had to have a built-in excuse, and he has never needed to use that excuse. Luckily for him.
And I'm not here to argue how motivated an athlete should be, but we have seen when he is motivated, has anybody even seemed to touch him when he's motivated? He was motivated against DC, bad things happened. He was motivated against Gane, bad things happened.
I think there's just.
I think it's such a cheap write-off to say he wasn't motivated for other fights because like there's still title fights. As we said before, like you can fuck off the off season. If I don't want to train until I'm in training camp for my next fight, now it's go time. Now I'm training. Now I have to give a shit because now my shit's on the line.
I mean, and of course,
you could say like, oh, after the OSP fight when he came back and he wasn't on steroids anymore, like. We saw a different John Jones. John Jones was starting to get older. The division was changing. He wasn't roided to the gills like he used to be.
I mean,
I get that was that era. There was a lot of other fighters.
I mean, I'm not saying if he's like that's a different success. But would you say when he came back, did he destroy OSP?
I don't think OSP is as good to begin with.
I mean, no, I get that, but he didn't
destroy OSP.
Yes, he did. What round? Come on, he didn't finish OSP, but he destroyed OSP. He threw him down.
Steroids or not, if you're going to look at his previous performances against opponents that I think are arguably all better than OSP, if you're going to come back...
Okay, wait. Are we arguing that they're not good fighters? I can only argue who he fought.
I will say...
So he destroyed OSP, right?
I think the competition he had before OSP was stiffer.
Okay, yeah, the older.
And I think that you were able to get these fights that I believe were more difficult fights. You were able to wrap that up. You were able to find a way. Yes, but you had to take OSP to a decision. If you could do that to Lyoto Machida,
this is what the whole thing.
You should have been able to do it to OSP. But I'm not going to count OSP out and be disrespectful to him.
Of course, and this is the thing. As fans, we expect, especially because he's a GOAT, we expect you to run through these guys, right? Yeah. Even if you didn't finish him, he destroyed OSP. All respect to OSP. He slammed him. I think he broke his arm. It was no point in that fight where OSP was going to win.
So you think it's more credit to OSP for not getting finished?
Yeah, I mean, also that was also John returning and
it wasn't his best performance.
It wasn't his best performance, and he still destroyed a top 5 guy who was younger than him, and then he also came back and destroyed Anthony Smith. So that's what I'm saying.
But he also shouldn't have beat Anthony Smith. To be honest, he did hit him after the belt.
Yeah, of course. And I'm not on this line. Shout out to Lion. I like it, but I'm not saying. All these scenarios you could pick at, but he destroyed all these people. He did it, and I know me and you are but I'm saying it's easy to be it's a title
Santos who didn't have legs.
I've never been in a lot of title fights, right? And they're if you was playing in the Super Bowl, you'd be like, every Super Bowl is important. But bro, if I'm Tom Brady, if I'm LeBron James, yeah, I would like to think every finals is the same. But I've been to 10 of these bitches. I can't feel the same about 10 that I felt about 1. I can't. I don't care how much you want me to feel that, bro. If you are going through that, everybody gets apathetic about a certain thing. If you got a bad job, if you just constantly running through bad chicks, but bad chicks ain't gonna be nothing to you.
I just find it somewhat inconsistent. Because you have people that are arguably better, at least on paper, just from a view.
Arguably better than who?
Just certain opponents.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Thiago Santos is good. Is Thiago Santos the best opponent he's ever faced? Not by 1.
Because he beat everybody else. That was the only person left.
Okay, so now you're fighting this dude that you've run through the division so fast that now you have this dude that would be discounted in comparison to these other fighters that you've already beaten. And he's taking you to a very close split decision on no legs. For 4 rounds, he didn't have legs.
So wait, are we giving people credit now for almost winning fights?
No.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I am not a John Jones, bro. I don't like John Jones. I don't like John Jones. But I'm
gonna be fair. Because we've seen what MMA judging looks like now, right? I'll give I'll give Jared Gordon all the fucking credit because I think he should have won, but on paper he didn't win.
Oh, like,
So
the,
should
the,
he-
oh,
so
I'm
he
just
don't-
like, what's the
Right.
core? Like, I'm like, what's the core? Of this song? Like, I'm not a John Jones fan, but he is undeniable. I
If
can't
John
deny
Jones,
it.
if
I
John
can't deny
Jones
it.
is this world beater, we've seen Thiago Santos' performance before and after that fight, and now you want to take that same Thiago Santos, you want to cripple him his entire.
I'm gonna leave with this. I will give you Thiago Santos. I'll give you who's the other close one? Dominic Reyes and what?
All the other ones.
Okay, no, that's what I'm saying.
He got.
You got two. You literally dominated every other legend, every top contender. Daniel Cormier twice.
Yes,
Come on now.
yes, razor thin decisions that he probably could have lost.
And
I
he
know,
still won.
no,
And he
for
still
a
won.
fact, he should have lost to Dominic Reyes. Just under the scoring rule
undefeated?
set that they have. No, he's not
basically,
because he
but-
lost to Mark Hominick off of disqualification. That was some bullshit in like the mid 2000s. He's
What
like
was that?
21
Because
and
he
1.
popped? Is it because he popped?
No, it was because 12-6 elbows, like just straight down, are illegal,
Oh.
and he was in like a butterfly mount, or like
I have a
almost full
question.
mount. Just
So the one is so he has a disqualification. That's a loss, and he also has a no contest.
Yeah.
yes, because
Okay.
he popped.
Oh, okay.
Fuck DC.
I have a real quick question. Who's your favorite ref in the UFC?
Favorite ref?
I just wondering. Like who's
Mike
your
Beltran. Mike Beltran.
I like the smell of alcohol and cigarettes, so I'm gonna go with Keith Peterson. As well. He smelled like alcohol and cigarettes. Nah, but yeah, that was fucking hilarious. I'm like, damn, dog. But if I'm being, he gets shit on a lot now because it's Herb Dean fault. But bro, if you fucking ref like a million fights, you're gonna drop the ball on a handful.
You're gonna fuck up.
I still think
Herb?
Herb
I'm a
is
Herb guy. I like Herb.
Herb.
Just
Call
something
it
about
Parquet
the.
as a
I like
ref.
Dave Smith.
You really get caught.
Dave
Like,
Smith underrated.
Who's a UK guy?
Bro, I like when you see somebody get knocked out, you see Herb Dean take the fuck off to try to stop him. Bro, that's my favorite shit.
Who's the UK guy with the arm tattoo? I'm trying to think of his name.
Not with the real long mustache, right?
Not
No, that's Mike Beltran.
Yeah.
not him.
He's
Not,
got like the dark, like brown, black hair, cut short. He's got the tattoos. I think he's British.
I'm pretty sure he's British.
I know the top ones are like Herb, like you said, Peterson, Beltran. I like what's that other?
It's not
dude?
Tyone. It's not Smith.
this is a real nerd session right here.
Well, because I think depending on who you have over a ref is gonna dictate the entire fight, and in a good or a bad way, the ref is really like, ayo, certain things are gonna. I feel like they're not throwing
If you're
things.
leaning on the
certain
ref,
things
you're
are
doing
missed.
something wrong.
Well, no, I don't think it's not about that. It's just more about, hey, I'm really knocked out, and I really need you to stop this fight. Please stop it. Like,
Well, we've
help
seen
me.
refs kill
Yeah,
people.
Yamasaki gonna let you keep fighting.
He'll let you thug it out for a minute.
Yeah, right. Even if you're unconscious, he's gonna let you fight like a
God
warrior.
forbid
Yeah.
that Steve Mazzagatti, you know?
Oof.
If he dies, he dies.
That boxing
Another
ref
question.
that killed that kid.
Another real quick question. Is there any female UFC or otherwise, any other promotion that you really like or like, just like you admire the way that they fight?
Oh, a women's fighter?
Yeah.
I always gotta give her a straight shot. Like she's a killer. She's been like top 5 in the world for like ever. But fucking Jessica Andrade, bro. As a former, as a short king myself. Shout out to Jessica. She's a short queen, bro. When you see what she can do to somebody like Caitlin Chukagian, who's like fucking 5'9".
Rolls on the neck.
Bro, like see. If you want to see a tank of a woman, Jessica Andrade. And if you even want to see a more tank of a woman, Wei Lee. I love her too. So those two.
I love Fairfax, as Xavier did from you earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The one dream fight I would love to see is Zhang versus Fairfax from one championship. I think that would be
I really like
really
him,
good
but dude, I just feel like physically, it's like the physicality of how strong.
Zane's
like
a world
Zane,
beater
yeah,
right now.
she wouldn't be able to get it.
Dude, when she
get away
cut
from
her hair, it was all over.
Oh, it was all, when she picked up Francis, I'm like, ain't a chick alive that's gonna
Yeah,
be
nah.
her.
Hell
She
no.
had that.
I don't know. She
Let
let her put on some weight. Because you know, there's a killer. There's
Nah,
a killer
nah,
in the
nah.
bantamweight. Killer in the bantamweight, 135. Double champ. Only. I think she's the only double champ.
Nunes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because she doesn't have to defend that belt.
I was gonna say 145 isn't really a division. They don't have enough fighters to make it happen.
Honestly, once
They could.
Amanda
They could.
retires, I could see Jay like going for.
I still can't believe
double
Amanda
champs.
Nunes got choked out.
I'm thinking like.
It had to happen eventually, Mark.
I don't
So
know,
do you think
man.
she's gonna ever lose another fight? Like she's lost
Yes.
like two
I
fights.
think she
I don't
really
think.
just fell
I don't
asleep
think.
for that fight.
rematch.
I don't see Amanda losing another fight in her career. She's gonna retire.
She's losing the.
Jose here right now. He said, I don't know if she loses another fight. If she loses tonight, clip that. That'll be gold.
Oh damn.
I don't think she's gonna lose another fight.
Man.
5 hours
Speaking
later.
of the fight, we
But
need
with
to
Tyler probably being wrong and us running up for like 2 hours, I think it's time to wrap it
we
up.
need to go watch the fights.
Thank you so much for coming. Go ahead, before we wrap it up, please plug, promote, go ahead, where the people can find you.
First and foremost, I want to shout out to the guys, man. They came a long way. Like, I love the way they moving. Like, appreciate you hitting me up, bro. Like, they showed they was in the trenches today, so I always appreciate that. Shout out Instagram, Baby Hope _23, Baby Hope on IG, Baby Hope on every platform. Baby Hook it up. Buy some merch, support the kid, a nice message, share the video, whatever you want to do to support it. Like, I really admire everybody who hits me up. Keep following your dreams, keep pushing pushing positivity, and do your thing.
I like that.
Oh,
I like that phrase.
Just to wrap this up, hey, make sure you follow Ohio Boys Productions on YouTube and on Instagram.
If you're still here, thank you very much.
Oh, we appreciate you. We love you. Always have a good day. Bye. OPP Fest, July 22nd. Buy some tickets. We love you.
You saw it at the beginning, so put it there.
Bye.
Alright.
Yeah, man. If you want to come to Cleveland in July, come to our concert.